Good evening, everyone. Every time this thing catches me doing something. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're still getting used to stream live button. And sometimes it takes like 2 seconds. Sometimes it takes I have no idea why it takes different lengths of time. But I get to screwing around sometimes and forget that it's coming on live and, people see our face. For anyone noticing, we're not on United Public Radio for another 12 days, guys. So if you're looking for us to see us on video, you can find us on 5 Facebook pages, Twitch, UFO Paranormal Radio, and Parler. You can find that Parler Periscope, which is still up. I'm surprised. Periscope keeps telling me they're going out of business, and yet they're still there for some reason. So sooner or later, they're going to go, and we'll actually continue that feed to Twitter, because it's a Twitter feed now is what it is. It's a twit feed, yes. It's for twits. If you're on Twitter, you're a twit. Just know, I don't care if you're President Trump or Obama or whoever you are. If you're a Twitter follower, you're a twit. If you don't believe me, just go listen to Jack talking in Congress, and you'll know exactly what I mean about twits. I'm just saying, people, if you're a Twitter twit, you're a Twitter. A Twitter twit. There you go. God, I couldn't get that out for nothing. But anyway, I'm going to turn you all over to the lovely Michelle DeRoche, because I'm going to go flip some buttons right quick. We're going to be talking about weird anomalies tonight, mainly videos, photographs. I got one, which I'm going to talk about when I get back, that while my wife was getting her arm x-rayed, I mysteriously found in my phone today. So I'm going to talk about that when I get back. So, Michelle, it's yours until I return. So here you go. And I'm out of here. It's all yours, Michelle.
Damn, I think I'm a Twitter twit.
Oh, I knew it. Wait, let me.
Oh, gosh. I got to keep up with those crazy ass social media. Okay, so good evening, everybody. We are again on UFO Paranormal Network on YouTube. We will be streaming across probably another 7 platforms, being Joe's personal pages and any of the network's pages that you find on Facebook. And of course, I believe we are streaming live on Twitch. So we will be able to see your comments come up in chat. We will only be able to respond to you via the UFO Paranormal page. Otherwise, we will try to keep up with all the different chats here on the soundboard. So this evening, we are going to be discussing EVPs, their place in paranormal research, how pseudoscience probably looks at it. We will be examining different types of communication like ITC. We will be examining spirit photography, which is a big one, and discussing how some of it has a lot to do with pareidolia or even auditory pareidolia. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting, because there's a group of us here who are pretty knowledgeable in all of that. So who wants to go first? Since our fearless leader is not here. Let's start with EVPs. What are they? Anyway? Okay, well go. Yes, go.
Yeah, sorry, Michelle. I was just going to say, I believe EVPs can be a lot of different things, and that's just from my personal perspective. And because I investigate as well, that it's always 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But how do we really know what it is? It's like doing stuff today in my own apartment, for instance. I was asking some questions, because as we do, just to test, equipment, see what's going on. And I have something complaining about my toaster. The reason why that's weird is because I do have a weird toaster. It's a Hello Kitty toaster. And so it's like, great, about my Hello Kitty toaster. What about my toaster? Nothing. So it could have been anybody who's left an imprint in my apartment somehow, psychologically, emotionally, let's say, left an energy imprint possibly, or it could be a spirit that hates Hello Kitty. You never know.
Spirit who hates toasters.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, those toasters.
Yeah. That does seem to be a thing. You get into the skeptics, they will tell you that you are recording potentially your own thoughts or something that is just sort of residual or floating around. I had a really strange experience years ago in an investigation, and they were doing voice recordings. I wasn't the one actually conducting the EVP session, but my daughter wasn't feeling well that night, and I was very concerned about her. Going back, a lot of years now, but I remember in my mind thinking that I said, I want to get home, or I need to get home to Angie. So that was my nickname for her. It's just what we called her at home. Her name was Andrea. So it was very strange. But anyway, when they were reviewing the recordings and when they put it in did a reverse EVP on it, you could hear in my voice, I have to get home to Angie.
Wow, that's compelling, actually.
It's never, I don't think, ever happened since. And it was strange because when they reversed the EVP, that's when they captured it in my voice, word for word, out of my head. I've got to get home to Angie. And it just goes to show you, though, how did my thoughts get on that tape? It was done on a tape recorder. It wasn't like digital or anything like that. And I never opened my mouth. In fact, I wasn't even in the same room.
Yeah, that makes it more interesting, actually.
Yeah. Del, any thoughts?
Yeah, the audio pareidolia, or what are they called? Apophenia, I believe that's what it is, or something like that, where you sort of hear things on tapes or recordings, and that's I don't know, I'm sort of really on the fence with that one there, because usually when somebody like hears something on a tape and someone says what the other person heard, don't you hear them saying this? Right, you've already sort of suggested a train of thought for someone to look for those words in something. Because I've even done this with Laura there many times when we've watched some of these ghost shows that do EVPs or capture this audio phenomenon on there, and I usually turn off the closed captioning or try to like start it at a point where I don't hear what the person is saying, what they think the ghost is already saying, to see if I hear the same thing. Because a lot of times I don't hear exactly what they're hearing, which is sort of interesting. And that's why I sort of think this whole that part about this audio pareidolia is sort of interesting too. In that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I just found it interesting that they captured this in a reverse mode, which at the time was just something that the person doing the recordings was sort of dappling with. But no, I agree. I think they did a lot of experiments with that through pseudoscience as to like just because you mentioned the ghost shows.
Yeah.
So the experiments was they took 3 or 4 different ghost shows and they analyzed the EVPs that they allegedly captured, and they put it out there to see, just like you, not wanting to know what was said, just to see if people were getting anything, and were they getting the same thing that the shows are claiming to get. And apparently only 13% of the people actually understood any of it.
Really, eh? See, I see that. If I put this into the part there also with when they did this backward masking on albums like a Stairway for Heaven or
Yeah.
albums and stuff like that, where they would say, hey, or the Beatles album says, if you play this backwards, it says, turn me loose, bad boy, or something like that, or some sort of devil thing.
Turn
And
me on, dead man.
and then people would say that, but you'd already were told what somebody else already thought, so you're like, oh, maybe it is saying that, eh? Or like that Yanni Laurel thing. Do you hear Yanni Laurel?
I remember watching Little Nicky, and they did it with a Chicago album, and it came out, oh, the devil's going to come and take you over and all this. And they're like, oh my God, Chicago kicks ass. It's like, but yeah, I guess that was a pretty big thing. I guess in a way, that's how they explain doing reverse speech. It's just like playing an album backwards and seeing what comes out of it. So I don't know. Any thoughts, Laura Lee, since you're just joining us? EVPs?
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I was driving like a mad woman, and then I thought, I got to grab his coffee from Timmy. If you're Canadian, well, and our doctor Canadian, Seraphine knows what Tim Hortons is. About EVPs. Sarah and I actually get a lot on our shows. I'm sure you and Amelia do as well.
Yeah, we do.
You know what? I've been very disappointed. I've had something very strange. I was going to message you, somebody I know to be very credible. It's not so much EVPs, but they're hearing things, they're seeing things, and somebody's eggs lit on fire in their fridge. Maybe we can talk about that later.
A bit extreme.
But there was somebody I've noticed recently, and I really hesitate to call people fakes, I've had somebody call me fake with what we've been through, that we were faking it. It's not true. But anyways, they were doing ITC, and I'm kicking myself because I never even watched it. Their intro was longer on their video than the ITC, and they never showed what they were doing. Plus, I have to agree with Mel when they tell you what you're supposed to hear. And most EVPs, as we know, are not class A, meaning they're as clear as day. I have some problems with that because I definitely disagree with a lot of the things that people hear, especially if they put a lot of reverb, depending on what they're using, and you can't hear anything. But this person in particular is on video. You see nothing. You don't see what they're using, what circumstances they're getting the video or the audio in. And then they're claiming, look at these amazing EVPs I'm getting. And I didn't get it right away until I seen some of the pictures that they're posting. And it's a long story, but there's a lot of people there that are faking stuff, right? Everybody wants to be the next big thing. And it's like, you know what? Most of us are in this because we're investigating to try and find out, what is this? Where is this coming from? Why is it getting picked up? Reverse speech, like, you know, that it comes through with reverse. I was watching a video last night, and they were talking about John Lennon, that apparently he taught himself how to speak backwards. I was watching a video.
That's crazy.
It followed Crowley at the beginning. They were talking about the affiliation of the Beatles in the beginning with Aleister Crowley, and it was quite interesting. I'll have to send it to you. I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
awesome.
Sarah, and he was speaking backwards. So he said he actually practiced and taught himself, but why? Something they were alluding to the fact that I guess Aleister Crowley said that in his mind, and this is just from the video, that anything spoken backwards had some kind of magical quality to it. I don't know if I can agree with that either, but certainly interesting.
I can't agree with that, but okay.
I knew you wouldn't. But out there, my biggest respect, and you've discussed this yourself, Michelle, is using the old-fashioned tape recorder, asking questions, and then seeing what comes through in the recording, because I think that it's very organic. We're not using a lot of technology, and how is it getting picked up, even if we're not hearing it with the human ear? It's coming through on the tape recorder. So
Yeah.
those are my thoughts.
No bleed throughs. You know, if you only use the one side of the tape recorder, then you're not taking chances that anything's going to bleed through.
Yeah.
At all. It's the same thing with video. So you don't get any ghost imaging, pardon the pun, you know, on the other side. Like, I think you have to be very careful. I'm still a fan of the old Polaroid cameras for that reason, because it's what you see is what you get. Oh, and there we have it.
They were reading my mind, because it was actually Sarah that taught me. We teach each other. We come from separate ends, and we meet in the middle as besties. But the thing is, and she's right, to go back to, like you said, a Polaroid, or buy one of those ones with the film, one of those old, take pictures, get them to toss it. You can't manipulate those. That is true. I think that's when you really get a real image, whenever you pick up. You can't Photoshop it.
No, I agree with you on that. And you know, it's just pretty much its own negative also. You really can't fudge with a, you know, like the negative, basically. I remember doing a large event. You know, we probably had about 150 people there at Castellon in Toronto. And a woman who came had taken a picture back in the 70s of a ghost at the castle. And she came in as my guest. The castle asked, you know, if I could bring her on as a guest. I said, absolutely. And what was interesting to me is she brought the negative to show people. So she had the original photo that she had developed and the negative. And I found it fascinating how all these kids had no clue, because they'd never seen a negative.
Wow.
And they're just like, what is that? And it was just mind-blowing. It really makes you realize how fast technology just progresses. And especially when it comes to spirit research, we really are in a whole other world now.
Exactly.
Not necessarily a better one either.
I agree.
No, you stay down there.
Yeah.
Get home from grocery shopping now. She thinks she's a lap dog.
Oh my God. She's a chihuahua.
Yeah, but she thinks she is.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe. I messaged you.
Wowzers. So what's this, Joe? This is one of your pictures.
Oh, down you go. Down you go, girl.
Oh, I
Can
guess.
hear,
Um,
can hear you.
He's miming.
There you go. So he's showing.
Hey, there we go. How's that? Can you hear me now?
It's much better.
Oh, okay, that was weird. Okay, I guess we had two mutes going at the same time there, one on the mic itself and one on the on the software itself. So anyway, Linda's sitting there getting ready to get her arm X-ray today just to make sure it's setting right. So I'm sitting there thumbing through my pictures that I've seen this. Now this technically, I must be downstairs here because I see the 3 plants. Now that's a little magnolia we got started. That's a Myers lemon. And that little black thing you see right now, you don't see it in there, but right now it's full of shard lettuce. So that tells me it's been at least 2 or 3 months back because the lettuce is all nice and pretty now.
Mm.
So I don't know what this is. There was no rain, no mist, no fog this night. If you see the little lights behind it, that's lights reflecting off the water. That's how close the bayou is to my yard. So you can see a silver thing right behind us. That's actually a boat sitting back on a dock right behind this. So where this thing actually is, there's nothing. It's 3 feet from my house. It's 5 feet from one tree, 4 feet from the other tree, and 6 feet from the other one. So there's nowhere for it to even suspend itself to drip. Because I thought maybe it was a drip. That's what I originally thought it was. I said, well, somehow I caught a drip mid-shot, mid-air, But considering, then I got to wonder where the light source is coming from because I wasn't using a flash on my phone. I'm not even sure. But what bothered me more than anything else, and this is what made me know it wasn't a drip. If you look to the right side of it, you actually see a beam of light coming down and passing it. It comes down about mid-length to the dock behind it. So it's actually coming down on an angle headed towards my grass. It's probably actually touching my grass. You probably just can't see it because the
Is that the one on
light
the
washes
right-hand
it.
side?
Yeah,
The
you
right-
can see it. Just coming off of whatever this thing is, this whatever it is. Now, if you zoom into it, there's a little flashy spot at the bottom. If you go straight up, there's a face, a head, a neck, a shoulder, and arms all in there. So I have no idea if it's just a reflection of some kind of weird water vapor, because sometimes weird water vapor tends to take on faces for some reason, or if it's something else entirely. Now, I have no recall of this night whatsoever. It's not anything special. Nothing seems to be standing out. I mean, apparently it's a clear night and a calm night because the water. See, if you look, maybe you can do it on here. Let me see if I can do it with a pointer. Right here, this little yellow dot, that's actually water. The land ends about right here. And then this is a boat launch, or actually a boat dock that's got a roof and all on it. Goes way over here. And there's a silver pontoon boat parked there. It's one of my neighbors. And it's weird because there's nothing else on. His lights on, his floods on the guy's floods over here aren't on. Our floods, our dock floods aren't on, for keeping the fish around. So nobody's big lights are on. It's only small lights. I'm thinking maybe earlier in the morning. You can see the ground is not wet, which makes me wonder. Usually here, if it gets after about midnight, 1 o'clock, everything starts to get kind of a dew feel on everything. Not so much here. I see the grass isn't that high yet, so I'm not exactly sure what the hell this was. And then there's just nothing here for it to make this. There's nothing. I mean, it's just open air. It's just an open air slot. There's just nothing there.
So there's nothing over it where it could just be dangling like a.
No, you see, because you can tell where I'm standing. So I'm standing on the concrete slab.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, behind the slab, about 3 feet behind the slab, is the overhang from my house.
Mm-hmm.
But where I'm at right now, there's actually you can't see them, but there's a set of stairs that comes down and lands somewhere right at the corner of this picture.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a stairwell that stops right there coming off my house. So there's just nothing there. It's just open air. At first I said, well, maybe it was a drip off my metal roof, and I just got some kind of weird, but then it's not even the right shape for a real drip because it's elongating too much. A real drip would have been more like a teardrop shape. So I'm not even sure what that is. It looks like it stretches. And it does look like when you get it off of the screen, get it where you can zoom in, it does look like there's something inside of it. But
Yeah,
I can't.
can you zoom it and put it, can you zoom that up, just that one section and put it on for us?
Let's see. Yeah, I probably can. Let me
Joe,
let
I
me-
sent you some crazy pictures from the most
Did
active
you?
part of our house.
Cool. I'll grab them up too. I thought I seen. Yeah, I thought I seen some come from them.
Changed. They were taken one after another. They're crazy. I have no idea what that thing is behind me.
Let's see if we can zoom in on it. Yeah, they get some weirdnesses going on. Come on, get back down further so I can see further. So I can actually make out all kind of stuff, but I can only see it in the center right here. It definitely looks like a person, but you know, it's water vapor, so it could be anything. See here, you can make out legs, shoulders, arms. You can even make out a head when you got it the other way.
What made you take that picture, Joe? Like you were outside, or?
I just took a picture. And wait, what's weird about this? There's no context. There's no picture before or after that goes with it. See, it's in my work phone. That's a really bitch part. It's not even the phone I use around the house. It's in my work phone. So that means I was outside playing around with the work phone. I'm not even sure. I'm gonna go look on my other phone and see if it had been on that phone. Maybe I took it with that one when I transferred it. But the thing of it is, I've never seen it before. And it wasn't that far back for me not to have seen it. Because I'm constantly going through pictures, sending owners stuff, sending customers, just things, putting stuff for our website and all up, or sending it over to my partners or other customers, new customers and stuff like that. So I'm always in the damn thing. So for me not to have seen it, and it was just weird because I was just sitting there thumbing through, and I said, "What is that?" I really did. I was just like, "What the hell was that?"
I'd love to see a close up of that droplet area.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send it over to the other computer so I can actually put it in my in some of the software and actually use it. See, let me see if I can find what it was in context with. So this is when this will give me at least an idea when it was, because I can kind of, okay. So it's right next. Oh, get this. Okay, so this was at least 3 weeks ago. The reason I know is on 1/23. Wait, no, sorry, wrong date. I was giving out my birthday there. Sorry, guys. I don't say on here. Well, anyway, it's when I got my COVID shot because it's right next to the COVID certificate. I took a picture of the certificate in case somebody gave me shit. And it's the picture before it. And then the picture before that is a picture I took of an American Express thing because I was fighting with American Express about a payment that it screwed up. So I took a picture of it. So it's completely out of context with anything. There's just nothing else there. Let me skip past it. And then the next pictures after that was actually a video of me fighting with Fiona with her vicious little face going.
She's so cute.
The little vicious animal. But I'm just saying it's completely out of context. There's no reason for it to be there. So this means, if I took this shot 2.5 weeks ago. So this past Thursday made 2 weeks exactly. So this Thursday will make 3 weeks since I got this COVID shot. So this picture and then this one here for the American Express was a week before that. So this happened somewhere March 10th, maybe March 12th, somewhere in here it should show me because it's on the iPhone. Let's see. Yep, March 10th, actually, at 7:08 p.m. It wasn't even early in the morning. So this is just a random, 7:08 p.m. on March 10th. When the hell is March 10th? Because, usually at 7 I got a show on. March 10th was a Wednesday. Wait a minute.
So what was the temperature like?
Well, wait. This is an impossible picture. March 10th at 7 o'clock. I had been on air for an hour. So that means
lost time, did your phone just screw up the time change?
No, because the picture before that's March 7th at 5:43, and the picture after that is March 11th at 3:30. And March 11th is the Thursday when I got my shot at 3:33. It's when I got my shot. I thought it was weird because it was 3:33. Don't be spamming me, evil Amelia. That's something I sent her earlier or something, or an invite I sent her earlier. Do I have everybody in here right? Or make sure? Yeah, okay. I lost Della and Laura Lee's face in the bottom. It's kind of weird me out. And see, there's your things you were talking about there, right, Laura Lee? They're on the picture page.
I'm on
the links you sent me. They're on the picture page. That's just weird. So this
on there.
Yeah. So this is just weird. So we're talking.
That's March. Joe, that's where it came up as on Messenger.
Yeah, so I'll grab it off there in a second.
Okay.
I gotta go look at something right now. Where's SoundCloud at when you damn need it? Come here, SoundCloud. I gotta make sure if I was live or a rerun on March 10th. For some reason, I thought that was a show I did with Michael, but I could be wrong. Let's see.
I'm not trying to spam the comments, everybody. I'm trying to hang on to these pages so I remember for next time. I turned on all the notifications.
Let's see.
I got pictures like that though, Joe, from my old place that just showed up on my phone. I never took them.
But it's so weird. So that means I'm standing underneath my house. Something had to have caught my eye to make me want to take a photo of the darkness. And it wasn't that, because that's the first time I've ever seen that. So I'm kind of just confused at the moment. Like, I don't really take, if we're in like a UFO place or a hot spot, I'll take random pictures because sometimes shit will show up. But usually around my house, I got to be honest, with the exception of things flying over the sky, it's kind of boring in this house. It's not a real heavy activity house or has anything. I've lived in some high activity houses, but not this one. This one's for the most part just kind of a laid back house. And,
Were you taking a picture of the moon behind the clouds or something like that?
I don't think so. I'm gonna go back and look at the picture again in a second.
One thing that I noticed there was when I bought the security cameras for the old place there when we were having this but bit of paranormal stuff going on, is that I noticed with the digital cameras, they had night vision on them and stuff like that, but watching them on the live vision as they're going, the digital cameras would pick up stuff that a normal camera wouldn't, and especially with mist and dew and fog and stuff like that, because we'd be sitting down there with Laura Lee and we would watching it and go, oh my God, we have a snowstorm going on outside. And we'd all of a sudden come upstairs and go outside. There's no snow. It was just this fog and mist and dew that was going by. But even to your eye, you could not see it as what was being picked up on by the cameras.
Yeah, the camera is pretty sensitive for sure. Especially if you got it on night vision too, it'll pick up on all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
What I really like are the trap cameras that go into night vision mode. You just kind of set those up, and this, the internet's full of crazy stuff that they pick up on. So those are, oh, here we go.
Okay,
What is that?
Creepy things behind me, and they change.
What is it?
I have no idea what that is. That thing. Well, I was talking to somebody, and they started snapping pictures because it changes behind me as you turn. I'm smoking, that's why it's covered up. But the next one, you'll see this thing. I have no idea what this thing is. None.
Where we go? Wait, sorry about that. I'm not exactly sure what happened there.
There's three of them in succession.
Wow.
And this
Like the deep
moves.
south, that has nothing to do with what we're
There's a
talking
big
about.
thing and then a little thing. It turns, and then there's a big thing, because that was just an empty bin behind me. So there's that thing, whatever the heck that is. I have no idea.
Oh, there it is.
That little white thing turns. That's closer to the right of that.
Yeah,
circle.
that looks like a mini Groot.
It does. It looks like Groot.
I didn't know it was there when I turned around to look at, because they took the pictures first, because they
You
knew.
better be asking where your cut is on Groot.
Yeah, I want a Groot.
Yeah, well, was it cute like a Groot? I can tell you that.
It looks like Groot, though. I hate to say it like that because now people are going to, I hate when we say goofy stuff like that, because ever since I've talked about the surfing aliens, that's all I ever hear about now. Well, you said they were surfing. I said, not on a surfboard. It's not what I was talking
It's not
about.
the little thing turns, but there's a big thing that looks like it's wearing a brown fedora in one of them, and then it disappears, because those were all taken one after another. Oh no, not that.
Okay, I hope that wasn't appearing behind. I'd just be scared. I'm like, where are we going with this? Behave yourself, computer.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, I sent you 3 pictures, Joe. I
Yeah,
guess that too.
Yeah, no, it's got all 3 of them. It's just for some reason it'll watch. Here it goes. So
That thing.
it'll show you that one.
Because it
Whatever,
turned that thing.
whatever this is.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
That's interesting.
there's this one, and then you see there's a
It's
little
great.
white thing down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Groot kind of looks like he's winking at you.
Yeah, a little Groot.
Y'all might have some competition, man. Groot might be there. He might be here. Yeah, there he is. See, yeah, it's completely turned. You're right. I see on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't see its eye or its mouth, whatever that was.
I have no idea what that thing is.
That's Groot mooning you.
You can look at them closer.
That's what that is. And see, what is that? Wait, what is that?
There's all kinds of things that I have a face in the shelves. There's black mist. There's a picture of me holding a fairy door I had, and it's me. And the third one is me, but it's not my face.
Have you tried to lighten this up just to enhance it? And,
Sure,
and
I'll
see?
send them to you, Michelle. You can do whatever. I've got a picture.
Yeah, I'll play with them for sure.
Okay, Randy writes in from Cleveland and says that's some kind of orb with a guy playing a guitar in it. Dude, where you see a guitar? Hey, I need some drugs like the rest of the planet. Obviously, I am not getting the good stuff, people. I mean, really. Okay, let me turn that off for a minute. That's a different banner.
Hey, hello, Raphael. Thanks for joining in.
Yes. I still don't have no idea what that is. I don't know why it showed up.
That's strange.
You know why it showed up when it did. Why I was there taking a picture and an hour into one of my show nights. I'm not sure what was going on there. Unless I just had a boring guest and decided to get up middle of the show, walk downstairs, and I don't know,
Let them
take a
talk.
picture. I just don't know what the hell I was taking a picture of.
Well, what night was the 10th? Was that a Wednesday?
That was a Wednesday at 7:00. It would have been an hour into
Could
the
you
show.
be playing an archive that night?
I could have been, but it'd still be weird for me to be downstairs, even the archive going with your show's only an hour out. Usually I'm setting up for y'all shows and doing other stuff or finishing up archives. So, and it could have been because Michael's show was the 18th, I believe. So that would have been the week before. So I can't remember. I'm thinking that was an archive. That was an archive that night. Still don't make any sense why I was outside. Still don't make any sense why I only took one picture. If I'd have seen anything, I usually go and then I'll go back and delete whatever I don't want. Or with this one, it's got that hold down and do the multi-click thing, so you get multiple. And I'll move the cameras. I'm going. It's also this one's also got the slow motion and all. And so if I'd have saw anything, I would have used one of those cameras to enhance it. But that was just an oddball pick, and it was just weird the way it showed up today. I don't remember seeing it before. I've been further than that back in the camera since this picture's been taken, so I'm not sure what the hell or why the hell it showed up there.
I must have to blow it up a little bit.
I am. It's going on to the other computer, Bob. I'll pull it off of. I'll actually send it from the phone to the other computer.
Well, you know what happened at our old house? Our security cameras refused to record anymore. They worked. We could see them on the TV in our room. And I remember Del saying, "What's that old lady in a wheelchair doing?" I've sent it to Joe before for one of the shows. He thought he could see a poodle in it. But if you look back from it, it looks like one of the characters we knew that was in there, like the Grim Reaper with the hockey mask. And it's in front of this car that was parked in front of our house. It's crazy. And I take a picture of the screen off of the security cams because, like I said, we had the technician come in. We brought them in. No, there was nothing wrong with it. We had all kinds of things like that. Our stove element, brand new stove. We had all kinds of things broken in the old house.
It's weird how that. Whoops.
Well, that's the interesting thing about with pareidolia is that people are always looking to find a face, something very familiar into something there, right? Because we always have that sort of that fear and flight response. We want to know if we hear a noise, we're looking for something to take recognition of what it might be, and that's what sort of gets in there. I find this really interesting when it comes into the part with when people see like these mist objects, or even people that see Bigfoot in the bush and they take pictures and they circle it and go, see, look at there it is standing right there.
Oh God, if I had $1 for every one of them, jeez.
Yeah, but if you look at the picture, if someone gives you the picture without pointing something out, and you look at it yourself, probably about 9 times out of 10, someone's not seeing the exact same thing that you think that you're seeing. And that's
one of the golden rules of research is if you have to circle it, then chances are it's pareidolia, but it's not always the case. Sometimes people are not always researchers when they're taking these photos. So they think they see something. And I've gotten photographs where people will send me stuff and they'll say, see, here it is. But, you see it right away, or you have to be objective. I always try to clean everything up. But again, you start stripping layers off things, whether it's an audio recording or a photograph, chances are you're damaging, the recording or the image.
Yeah, because I was just watching this thing. There was I can't remember what it's called there, but it's there's a experiment that was done where people fill in the lines to make an image. Like there's one of like a circle with a triangle, but it's just shaded, but people will see the triangle that's there even though it's not drawn in. Right, your mind will fill in that.
It'll go there. You're right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But that's human nature too. You just automatically, the mind will go for the obvious 9 times out of 10, So it's like, what do you guys think about, ITC when they're doing experiments with light and water reflections or vapor mists? because then you tend to see images. So what are your thoughts
That's
on
what
that?
my point. I'm going to bring this up right now. That's funny. You
Yeah.
brought paper images. This is somebody that's been putting out these incredible pictures with a vape. And I'm getting tons of messages. I've told people that it's not my photo, but I'll share it in my group or whatever. People want to know. He's explained how he does it. They still can't see it. Won't go on camera, won't show people how to do it. And
I know a lot of people that do them. There's some people are just
yeah, but these are
naturally
super,
gifted.
super clear images.
Mhm, same.
Person's not shy. They have a YouTube channel. So to me, why not just come on for a little bit, answer some questions? It's no skeptics. They want to see what you do to see if they're able to do it. And they absolutely refuse. And I know anybody else that's tried this method, they're not getting the results. So is it pareidolia? What is it?
I don't know. I've got a friend who does them with different techniques, and he comes right out and talks about it. He posts the pictures, and he tells you how he did it. He'll tell you what the light was like. Let's say he's doing, like sunlight and water, for example. He'll say this was the temperature on this day.
I like
this
that.
was how I tried it. Yeah, and his are
And
like
why?
mind blowing.
Like, what's the circumstances? Like,
That's right.
how did you get something to go up? Like, were you even thinking about it? Were you in a certain place? There's no details available with this whatsoever. Or like it's almost Easter. Well, supposedly Jesus showed up on a photo. Could it happen? I guess. But to me, I want to know those things, because the more information you have and the more open you are about how you've gotten these images, it's a little bit more easy to understand. And if it's repeatable, not going to get the same results, but you're going to get a picture or something, then to me, that's a little bit more credible.
Some people think their photographs is the $1 million photograph. They're just not going to share the information.
Well, that comes into an interesting part there, is that with new technology and new things of how somebody is actually doing this and capturing images, it is so easily to look at it that it could be faked, and quite possibly could be faked because people don't understand how it's being done yet. And that comes into a big part there with that's why I've been looking at a lot of these vape things, because I've watched a lot of this Chinese not animation stuff, but Chinese film technology and what they're doing with cameras and how they can adjust cameras to make images appear and to doctor on digital cameras as well, where they were saying is that images can't be faked on CCTV and all that stuff. Well, actually, yes, they can. There's a way to manipulate them to put images on there. So it's not like a bleed through from a previous film or something like that, or re-recording that was on there, which is sort of interesting, because they always said digital cannot be, you can't fake digital, but you can.
You sure can. Once it gets to the computer, you can do anything with it. Any photo. Once you're on the computer, that's the technology. I've seen old photography back in Victorian times. I've seen old photography. There were so many charlatans with it. People went to court back then for taking advantage of people, just by putting images in old photographs. So, and that was without the technology that we have today. So it definitely can be done.
Even that too, they're now with that new stuff where they I can't remember what it's called, fake stream and stuff like that, where they put say like Joe Biden's face on Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that, and get him to talk and sound exactly like them, and like that's technology that's out there right now.
That's scary technology.
Yeah.
That is.
Oh, there's one with your pet that you can do. If you get a picture, you have to put it in the screen with the ears and the face. You say whether it's a dog or a cat, and you can get them to sing, talk, do anything. And it looks like your pet is actually speaking. So there's all kinds of technology out there.
My dog don't need no help speaking. Thank you very much. That
Don't
little witch
talk
can
and sing
speak
and
quite
sing
well.
Song with them.
She almost speaks English pretty well. Little Huzzy. She says, "Mama, Daddy." She likes to bitch at you. She got to anyway. The dog got a whole realm of vocabulary. Yeah, I have no idea where she learned to talk, but she like having a little parrot and dog.
The best video you had recently is when you were play fighting with her. That was so cute.
Yeah, she's vicious, man. The lady at the doctor's office today, she was saying something about a dog. I said, "Oh, you mean a vicious one like this one?" And I had a video on it. She's like, she just started laughing her ass off. She had all kind of teeth. I said, yeah, she's vicious and she'll gnaw on you. She won't even break skin, but she'll gnaw on you.
Oh, she's so sweet. You got little ones too, right, Michelle? You've got little ones.
Yep, 2 little 3-pounders.
Ah.
Little fierce little things with no teeth. It's awesome.
Okay, let's see.
Yep, 2 left.
Aw.
Okay, let's see what weirdnesses we got here now. Now, see these? We've gotten a couple of these down here, these Dropostone looking things. We've got a couple of these taken. This one actually was taken in London in broad daylight. And it was just one of them things you're like, what? Over the city, everybody's seen it, can't deny it, nobody knows what the hell it is. We've got a couple ourselves. We've gotten over the years in different locations. Pensacola, we've got 2. Gulf Shores, we got one. We got one in Gulf Shores doing an oil spill. We was actually doing an investigation for Angela Joyner. We were down there messing with all the oil workers when we got this one. And we got one like this one. Now these 2 at the top is just strange. This was taken with Kodak 400 film. There was nothing in the sky. We were just doing random shots in Gulf Breeze, Florida. And these 2 showed up. So this thing, I have no idea. This could be an reflection. There's actually something above it. So you get this big flashy orby thing, which is probably a reflection of some kind. But up here, you've got something moving at high speed. When you go to the next frame over, the neach feature, not only can you see it, but you can see it's leaving a trail behind it. We talked with the tower at Pensacola that day. They had something that was clocked at Mach 14.2. Nothing actually physically was seen by anybody except this one little piece of film we got. And it was just a random shot. And the bad part was it was just, we do a lot of that. You just be walking around, just camera flashing going all the time. And a lot of times we don't use flash because we don't want the flash to interfere with whatever light may be coming off of one of the craft. Now, this one down here, these 2 down here, and I think there's another shot of it here somewhere. It's not going to show me on here. But these 2 shots here we got, there's a video of this, and there's about 10 of these separate shots. So these were craft we had watched. We were sitting in Gulf Breeze, Florida, right next to Eglin Air Force Base. And you can see it's coming in on the right. You can see where it's coming in. This is offshore. When it's the one on the left, it's actually hovering above a runway, an abandoned runway on Eglin Air Force Base, or a supposedly abandoned runway on Eglin Air Force Base. It was very strange to watch the whole thing. We got great video on it. Got more pictures on it. It was a strange thing indeed. And then they had, I don't know if it's going to let us see the bottom one or not. This looks like something, yeah. Y'all see this little orb right here? See, this is the military fence you see, and it's just white sands and all. Mm-hmm. There's an orb back there, right? Just a little round orb. Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing special. Well, there's actually an observation tower right there. This orb's encased in. So there's other pictures I'll have to show you. I don't have any on this computer, but we've actually got pictures of what's there. It's a little square base with what looks to be an observation dome on top of, like where you have a telescope or a radar dish or something like that pops out. That's what it is. It's just sitting there. I've never even seen anything ever come out the damn thing. And this particular day, it reminded me of that that series where they used to catch the spies with the big bubbly things. That's what it looked like. Yeah, you remember that, Dell? That's what it looked like, dude. It was encasing the whole thing. Now, the building itself is probably 2 stories high, with the thing on top is probably 3 stories high. It's probably 50 by 50, maybe 100 by 50 or something. It's not huge, but it ain't small. It's way too big for some kind of bubble to be going on. And not only that, you can see the bubbles actually encasing part of the sand dune. I don't know what it was. I mean, and we still don't know what it was. This is Eglin. Look, a lot of weird shit. The photos you've seen just before that were at Eglin Air Force Base. Eglin's is where they test all the non-nuclear weapons, all our top secret weaponry. That's where it's tested, as long as it's not nuclear capable.
Amelia wants to know, did you say bubbly?
Yes, bubbly. I can use bubbly words.
Yeah,
every now and then.
Bubbles.
Because Bubbles was she's probably piloting the damn thing. It's just a strange thing in itself when you get these over there like that. Oops, that ain't what I was looking for. That ain't what I was looking for either.
But again, you're thinking like, is that a reflection?
No,
a sunny day. Is it? It's so hard to see.
Well, yeah, because it is hard to see. And see, I'm looking at it more blown up than what y'all can see.
Yeah.
So this is what's weird about this. So when you're looking at this picture blown up, you can actually see it sitting in the sand, and you can see through it. You can see the sky behind it through the orb itself.
That's
you can also
true.
see You can also see what's encased in it. So it's, I don't, to be honest, I have no idea what caused it. This was just a strange picture here. This is a black triangle, a typical, but this is U.S. This isn't an alien spacecraft. When this picture gets posted, people always say it's alien, but it's not. This is a TR-3B. This is one of the very first ones. This was an older picture taken. I think it was in New Mexico. And still, you don't see them things around much today. I mean, they were out there, but to see that come over your car is to say, what is that?
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
Well,
Joe,
that-
I'm going
that
to send you a picture. Sorry.
TR-3B is a military plane there, Joe?
The SR-71's a military plane. This is the TR-3Bs are just supposed to be in flight and spacecraft. So they're supposed to be able to go to Mars. Anywhere inside the solar system, they're supposed to be able to get there pretty quickly. And anywhere inside our atmosphere, they've been clocked. I mean, a lot of people have got them clocked anywhere from Mach 12 to Mach 18 inside the atmosphere. They're just black triangles. Some of them have 3 pods in a center. Some of them have nothing underneath them. Matter of fact, some of them, when they come over here, it's silent and it's black. And the only reason you even know it's there is because it blots out the stars around it. So you just see this black triangle thing kind of moving across the sky, blocking out the stars as it goes. Oh, we caught it on a foggy night one night, and it was black against the gray. It looked creepy as all hell, by the way. But you could just see it just moving along through the gray cloud. It was very strange, but you see these all the time.
If I send you a picture to your Facebook, can you put it in your messenger? Can you put it on here, or where should I send it?
Send it there.
Okay, here's one for you guys just to fart around with. This was sent to me many years ago. Clearly not paranormal, but I just want to show you the example. Okay.
Let me go find it.
Okay, here it goes. There. Okay, coming your way now.
Okay, there's Michelle.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I see it. So let me.
Yeah, just to give people an example, like of what I mean. If you're not seasoned, you might have looked at it and went, "Wow," but it's like seriously, when you look at it, you'll see.
Let's see and share.
And again, this was probably about 10 years ago. This was sent to me, so they were doing it even like way back then. Can you share it up?
No, I'm just. Oh wait, wrong thing. Shared the wrong.
Wrong one. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. I hit the wrong share button. I got a couple of links over. That's why it's getting a little weird here.
That's okay.
Okay, let's go back to Chrome tabs. And which one is this one? Okay, that's not the one we want. Yeah, I think that's the one. Nah, wait, stop. There it is. Okay.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There it is.
So can you not blow that up?
That's what I'm getting ready to see right now.
It's
Okay,
like,
keep
what?
flipping. Hold on.
Okay, there we go. There. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago, and they're still sending
That's
like
Bubbles, man. You didn't know who that was?
whatever. Look at the eyes on
That's
it.
Bubbles.
A giveaway.
Right. Oh my
They should have left the eyes blacked out. It might have looked more believable. But it makes you
that's
wonder.
that's what about the Grey's
No,
eyes.
you would wonder.
Is it?
My first thing would
Yeah,
be like,
bigger, but
take it, and why are everything black but the eyes look human? And like I'd have to be asking a lot of questions.
Well, I'm interested in the reflection beside it. Do you see? It looks like there's a bit of a where the one eye is on the inside. It looks like it almost reflects a little bit on some kind of a surface.
Yeah, I see
It's
you.
hard to
Yeah, I
tell.
see it too.
Yeah. So I mean, that's interesting because I mean, they don't often leave reflections. I won't say it never happens. But I mean, there are photos of grays that have human-looking eyes, but just much bigger. I just find this to be a little bit, like I said, this was going back at least 10, maybe even 12 years ago. I've been doing this 18 years now, so it could have been nearly 12 years ago.
It looks like he's got hair. Like a forehead, like hairline.
I know. I don't know. I just thought I would share that up and then just let
Not a forehead.
and people can look at it and kind of go, huh, that's interesting, you know.
So that's the thing. You get all these weird pictures. You never know where half of them end up coming from. You never know if they're fake or they're real. I wish I was on my other computer. I got way more pictures of that.
Well, the one I got with the eggs, when this person first sent this to me, they've never discussed paranormal. That's a mom of one of my oldest son's friends. It's her mom, and I've known her for years. And when she sent it to me, and the first thing she said is, "My friend's eggs are on fire in the fridge." She's freaked out. I'm like, "What the F?"
What the hell? That's what I'd be saying.
Fried
What?
eggs in the
Who's and what?
fridge. Yeah.
Sends me the picture, and she
Hmm.
said she threw them out. And I'm thinking, like, oh my God, we got to get these eggs tested. Like, I'm thinking conspiracy theory, like, where did you get them? And then she goes, no, she goes, he doesn't want me to touch them. He thinks it's paranormal. And right away I jumped to, okay, this is crazy. And I think, no, let's stay objective and find out what's been going on. They've been getting the building, it's over on this side of town, close to the marina, which is where the Sleeping Giant is. There's a lot of activity on this side, right? But a lot of old history. The building was built in 1905. And I guess he's had a few things. Her dog jumped out the window while she was out 3 stories up and
Oh,
survived.
wow.
Never done that before. They
That's,
had a
yeah.
ladder elevating. There's a whole bunch of people that have been experiencing stuff. But my thing is, this is kind of dangerous, because if that actually did happen, and I believe her, because she sent me the picture, and there's nothing wrong with the fridge, but you can see where the dozen of eggs melted right into the plastic of the shelf of the fridge.
Wow.
He smelt burning. She said this guy was so shook up. She said he's 70 years old, and he goes, never in my life. And the thing is, had he been sleeping, what would have happened? Because they were on fire.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. Well, yeah, if he was sleeping, because otherwise, sometimes people project, like psychokinesis, telekinesis.
And that's a weird thing there too, which would be into that part is what you were saying there could be psychokinesis and that, but you'd have to ask the question, okay, if it was in the fridge and the fridge was shut, how was he smelling this burning eggs? Because those are sealed.
That was going to be my question.
You haven't seen the picture, Del. They were completely on fire. The whole carton, as I understood it, was on fire. He just grabbed it and threw it. But I'll send the picture to Joe. You can see where they've melted. Sarah's seen it. They've melted right into the bottom of the fridge. You can see the whole indent of where he was looking for the smell. He could smell something burning, he said.
It's pretty compelling. It's interesting. There's instances of stuff very similar to it, but there's, like we've said before, there's explanations for a lot of things, but there's a lot of questions we'd have to ask with that.
And she's credible. Like, she's never contacted me like she's a paranormal, junkie, and not that matters, because some people, I'm not saying that, I'm saying she's very credible. Like, I wasn't even thinking paranormal at first when she sent it to me. I was thinking it was some kind of conspiracy thing.
It's like Seraphine said, egg explanations.
Yeah,
sorry, I had to.
I'll send it to Joe.
I mean, people can spontaneously combust, so why can't eggs? I mean, it's an energy thing, I think.
Eggs are people too.
She said he's so shook up. She said never in his 70 years has he ever experienced anything like this. And then that's when she started to give me more, because I was asking a million questions, like, well, what does this mean? Like, because I said, where did he get them? Because Del and I were talking about it, and he's going, well, maybe, if they'd been in the fridge for a year or something. No, they were newer eggs. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. I'd like to know more about, things going on in the environment, if he's in an apartment or other people experiencing things. What's new? What's changed? That all of a sudden, does somebody else move into the building or the area that is projecting, or
or messing maybe with some things they shouldn't be. The apartment is old. She said 1905, and if I remember where the street is, it's not in the best area of town. There's a lot of lower vibrational things that could be going on, like murder, suicide, drug use, prostitution. Not in that building necessarily, but right around in the area. Because she said, yes, there's quite a few people experiencing activity. It's not just him.
So something's changed in the area or the home.
Or somebody really crazy at the grocery store that was injecting eggs with some sort of accelerant and just putting them in the grocery store, seeing if somebody ended up taking them home and having something happen. I don't know. There's been crazier things happen.
It's something for sure.
I sent you the pics, Michelle. You can take a look yourself too and see what you think.
Okay.
I sent them to Joe, and I sent them to, like I said, Sarah's already got them. I did show them to Del, but I didn't send them.
I got them here. I already showed them.
That is different. Yeah. I definitely am curious to see what else is going on in that
Yeah,
area.
because the fridge is quite pristine, and as I understand, there's no electrical problems that they're aware of. Or
Yeah, I see you and Groot here too. Thank you. I'll play with them.
okay,
So,
I got all kinds of pictures like that, man, from the old
selfie of
house.
you and Groot. No, I love it.
That comes into another play, I guess. With this is that what you pick up on camera and how the camera can actually show
Aw.
images compared to what you see with your eyes is totally different. You don't see the same thing with you on picture that you do live with your eyes, and which could be a real difference in determining what you're looking at.
See,
Mhm.
Is that Amelia's baby?
yeah, I put this up for a reason. If you
That's
look to the
Versace
left of the baby
and the
and you see
TV.
the TV, you see this glowing person with boobs in there. Yes, you don't see
Yeah.
that? That's
You can't-
Amelia the Gray. I'm telling y'all.
I
She
would like
gave
to
us
blow that up.
proof now.
Yeah, I'd blow that up a little bit for
Let me
sure.
see if I can get it from the other one. Let me see if I can get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Let us.
Bubbles, you've been holding out on me.
I know, man. Look at that. I mean, I can
saving
make out
No.
hips and thighs.
I know.
I can even make out a neck. There's something. Oh wait, there's something black at the top.
Sorry, I'm into the dog because it's really tiny on my
The
cell phone.
dog is.
See
I
it?
know.
I pointed it out, but the dog's so cute.
The dog
He's
is a
cute.
cutie.
Oh, he's a ham.
I wish I could make it zoom in on him. Man, I need to be on another damn computer. This computer don't do nothing. It's got
No.
on
Your
it. Yeah.
dog, did you? And Ham, and now you got to come over.
That's right. You keep talking about another dog now. Come on, you
Yeah.
asking for
You
trouble.
got to come over.
Where did I
And
have
back
it
to
over
this
there?
guy.
Let's see. I know
Back
they
to
just
this
sent me some.
guy.
The eggs, yeah.
What are you
there's-
sending me cookies?
Okay.
Oh, that's eggs. Okay.
The eggshell,
I
yeah.
thought they were chocolate chip
Probably
cookies
we're
there
burning
for
for
me.
a bit, anyways, because it's pretty burnt into the fridge, and there's no other.
But you know what else is interesting is there's one egg missing,
I know.
and you see it's fine, like that space,
Yeah, but
right?
maybe I had that egg already. Maybe that was almost.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so you could see like it's, it's definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's only nine spots burnt and 3 didn't, or
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
were out of the pack.
Somebody ate them 3 eggs. Dell was over there needing
Yeah.
some breakfast the other morning. I know what happened.
Oh, it grosses me out. I hate eggs. When he cooks them, I have to go. He hates canned tuna. I can't have tuna melts in front of him, and I hate when he cooks eggs. I've
That's
hated
'cause
it
you
since I
can't
was
eat
little.
tuna. Tuna kills dolphins, man. You can't eat tuna.
Tuna.
I know I can't trust the can, but I still read it if I do buy it to see if it's dolphin safe.
There ain't no dolphin safe tuna. They all had to kill them other poor little dolphins around. You better watch them. The Great come probe you twice as much.
I don't eat it all the time. It's just.
Let's see.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Now, Lorley, when you visited this person, were you able to see the refrigerator for
No, I
yourself?
didn't visit her. She messaged me right after it happened on Saturday, and that's why I messaged you right away. And then I showed it to Dell, and then I asked her a gazillion questions. She got back to me about an hour or two later. So that's when she started telling me the other things because I didn't even ask her. I didn't get a chance to because it was all through Messenger. But like I said, I know her to be credible. Like I know her personally. So, and again, I didn't jump to paranormal right away. I was thinking like, these have got to be tested. Like she goes, well, do you want me to grab them? They're still outside the window. I'm going, hell yeah, grab them. And then I guess she came back and said he doesn't want me to grab them because he thinks it's something paranormal. Because I said to her, like, make sure you wear gloves, make sure you're safe. Because I'm thinking, is there some weird chemical in these, like conspiracy theory type thing?
But if he's that fearful of them, why would he not give them to you as a researcher instead of like, what is he going to do with them?
I don't. Well, it was her. She was going to grab
her.
that contacted me. I don't know him.
Right.
Mm-hmm. She just said, I know somebody that is familiar with the paranormal. Would you like me to contact them? And I guess he said yes. So I was dealing, if you think about it, third party, but that's when she shared with me that there's been she's experienced things. Like I could go back. I think she said she's been a few physical things that have happened to her. Mm-hmm. And then she said, well, she was out of town. This has never happened. She's lived in a building for 4 years with a roommate. She said the dog jumped out a 3rd-story window about a week or 2 ago. And it was okay, but he's never done anything like that before.
Right.
Again,
it's scary just from that aspect of things that an animal would try to harm itself. You know.
Yeah. Like we
So-
can't say it's paranormal, but the fact we know it's not normal behavior for this animal.
Mhm.
And I have to agree with you. Something's changed. If you really want to know, I'm picking up like somebody's messing with something. And what I was picking up was, I'm just going to say it, Native American woman, something to do with a child. I don't know. And that was, didn't want to feel too deeply into it. I'm not going to invite myself over, but if she
Mhm.
asked me to come over, I would go and probably feel more deeply into it.
I mean, for an animal to react that way, you
Yeah.
know, it's got to be something that even it's
Yeah.
scared of.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen animals try to chew their way out of a
Yeah.
a crate,
Mhm.
a metal crate. So
Yeah.
it's sort of like Jesus, and that case was really brutal.
Mhm.
Animals, I mean, they're not just going to throw themselves to their deaths unless
No,
there's something
and
that really has 3 stories,
exactly. And
have a
that's what
question.
I thought too. Like and she said he's never done that before, but she happened to be visiting somebody out in British Columbia, and it's her roommate's dog. And like I said, she said they've been together for, I think it's 4 years, and the dog's never done anything like this before.
Do you think that maybe this is just a theory out there, is that when you have certain pets that act differently in that, and this comes into this whole question of we have all this advanced technology around us with all these signals bouncing around, that do you think that there could be some sort of ultra high frequency feedback that's happening, something we're not picking up audibly, but the animal is, that's causing them to go crazier
Mhm.
or act weird?
It,
Because we are bombarded with huge amounts of frequencies that are going around that we're not hearing every day, but are being like transported throughout every room of your house, probably.
That, you know what? That's an excellent observation. It's true. Even look at Wi-Fi. The new Wi-Fi systems now, or it's like a net that just goes over the whole house now. They just signals that beam off one another like a web.
Yeah.
It's not like you have just one Wi-Fi, like a router and and your actual internet. It's pretty freaking sophisticated now. Even 5G for an animal might be really high.
I'm going to remember this now when our dog's bugging Dell, because she goes up to him constantly. She stares at him, like to run over at him and stare at him right in the face. I'm going to say it's because you're watching TV and it's the frequency off the TV. Because he'll go, what?
Say frequencies, Dell.
Yes. Well, it's just the frequency is that she wants to go outside and do a number 1 or 2. So
Yeah. But she drives him crazy. So I'll remind him of that. But he is right. Because we're seeing animals right now around the world, like whales beaching themselves. They're talking about orcas attacking boats and things that they don't
Well,
like. Really,
look at what I posted today. Did you see it on
was
my
it? No.
Facebook?
No.
There are turtles and other fish. They're going in circles.
Yeah.
They don't know why. They're just
The
going.
navigation systems are
Yeah.
all screwed up with dolphins, with whales, with birds, with
Right
all
there.
kinds of things. So I think Dell
Well,
has a real point there. Yeah.
yeah, they actually, there was research that was done on this a few years ago when they were talking about a bunch of these pods of mammals in the ocean that were beaching, weird migration patterns that were being screwed up, especially with birds too. Is that when Doppler radar was turned up high, it caused birds to flock in a weird pattern. And you got to figure how many news stations are out there that have Doppler radar are bouncing around to get your AccuWeather and stuff like that. And the military does bounce signals through the ocean when they're doing different things, when they're searching out for stuff and sending communications. And they've noticed that it's screwed up patterns of fish going there. They've had dolphins or pods of dolphins run right up onto beaches. Little small whales do the same thing because it messes up with their tracking where they're going, right? Because a lot of these things, birds especially, follow these, not the ley lines, but magnetic lines. And we're shooting all these frequencies into the atmosphere. It messes them up.
Well, how many are falling out of the sky?
Yeah.
So that's another one too. Yeah, the
Dropping
Starlink.
dead.
Yeah.
Especially, I think it's in the Midwest. They're all dropping dead, and they don't know why. One state in particular, I remember there's just tons of them, and they have no idea why. I think it's a certain type of starling.
Mm-hmm. You gotta
Nice.
figure that, like I said, that we are pumping so much frequency into the atmosphere that we don't see, and we have all these effects that's happening on nature. It's even happening with certain types of trees and plants and stuff like that, where you're getting weird growth. And this comes
Mm.
into another part. There is when they show these alien crafts or these places that they search for, where they're finding strange radiation in the trees and plant life around there. And then you got to figure what we are as a people, or what secret military or private sector is doing out there, what effects they could be happening that's not being talked about.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. We don't know. That's the problem. You know, there's so much stuff and testing being done right now. Technology is completely, we're left in the dark with most of it. Let's face it.
I forgot to. Oh, go ahead, Michelle. Sorry.
No, it's you know, how much of it isn't even safe for us, let
Exactly.
alone wildlife.
Well, a lot of people are being affected by 5G. I mean, in New York, I think there was a tower that went out beside a fire department or fire station that they had to take the tower down. Like they were every one of the firemen were sick. There was some kind of symptoms. I remember that was a year or two ago. Oh, I was going to mention going back to those egg pictures, by the way, and discussing that. I have her permission. She asked me to please discuss this tonight on the Paranormal Show if we had the opportunity. So thank you guys for your insight on that.
No problem.
Say
So when you blow it up, it's hard to see, eh, Joe?
Yeah.
Like
it's hard. I'm going to have to put it on a different computer where I can see it in more detail. Something that's not going to spread the pixelation out like that one still.
mhm.
Yeah,
Well, she blew it up and sent it to you, Joe. The picture of the image because I was just messaged her in the chat and said that I'd have to blow it up on my laptop, but she said she blew it up and sent it to you. What was behind that adorable little baby?
Let's see where she's at.
Hmm.
And I got a whatchamacallit. Is this it?
Sarah's being
that's
so
it.
quiet. She's got tons of crazy pictures at her house. I remember she sent me one, and I was looking at it because you could tell her cat Doc. He's so sweet. She's got two, but he's such a little ham himself. And he's on the couch and he's staring, and there's crazy things going on. And there was like a mist above, but right through the couch, you know how it has a skirt, the couch sort of, right by the leg, there's a big glowing eye. You can see. It's like, ugh, I'm getting goosebumps speaking about it.
Cat sees it.
Yeah, the cat sees lots of stuff. You've got to hand it to the cats, though. But I don't have just stuff from my house. I have stuff from active investigations and stuff that I actually, because of NDA, can't put on the internet. But there is a lot of crazy stuff that happens when you actively investigate many places, many countries and stuff. It just kind of is interesting. I was going to say with the egg thing that that's really interesting. It's a great story, but with all of us here, I'm sure we have a great many more questions than there are pictures to explain.
Absolutely.
Yep, I agree.
I think she's open to, because I think they're hoping this is going to stop. So, like I said, I had her permission to discuss this tonight. So
you would have to, you'd have to try to figure out what's going on, and it may not be something that's just going to stop. You know, I mean, who knows? Maybe you've got like a pre-adolescent girl in the building now that's just like going all carry on everybody's butts. You know,
actually, you know what? I talked to my friend David this weekend. That's a medium, and he actually picked that up too. He said, "Are there children in this building?" I said, "I'm sure there are. It's an apartment building."
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go all carry on your asses. That's that.
Yeah. So that's it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just looking at the image.
That's what I was. We're reading each other's minds today. I was just saying that's the image. And you're saying
This can only be like two different things here, or if we want to call it a ghosties, but you can make out the neck and it comes up across and come down. Now, notice where all the white hot spots are. Now, see, a man's body that wouldn't fit, on a female's body that would fit just about perfectly. Because it's showing something on the inside, probably where the ovaries are. We can know what these two are. This would be under the arm or on the side. All places where you would hold temperature.
Yeah, see, I temperature, because was the television on? Temperature, or is there a
Well,
light
no,
reflecting?
it looks like whatever this is, because let's follow it down. So here's the head. This is
Only
cut off in the neck
bubbles.
right here. Follow
Yeah.
down across the shoulder. I guess this would be
Yeah.
boobs. Come across where the stomach actually sucks in and cuts out, and then comes back down where the hips would be on both
Yep.
sides.
Yep.
So it's not that hard to tell that it's a normally built body. It's just, what is it? Is it one of them Palladian things? Is it Bubbles walking around?
It was Bubbles' roommate till she sent her home.
Yes,
It's from 2017.
and
Yeah,
I'm not ruling out it
That's
couldn't be
right.
some other
That's
kind
right.
of energy, but it definitely it could have been, she
The
might have been
little
Bubbles
roommate.
herself phasing.
Little
She's-
roommate from the chair. Yeah, I can see the neck, and then it just looks like
yeah, but you can also you can see something else that comes out. So it's hard to make out, but there's a line coming up right here, and there's another line coming out right here. So if that was a neck, it would actually be an elongated neck,
yeah.
That looks like the
Unless the light or the lens is pulling.
which is possible because you can't really make out a face. What was that, Del?
that looks like the alien queen from Aliens there.
Mhm. It's definitely got a female look to it. What else it is, I have no idea. But at least in that much, I would say it has a female look to it. But I couldn't.
Oh,
tell
we
you.
have a question here from
Throw me in there. Get them questions in.
they said, if ghosts exist, does that mean heaven and hell does not exist? If they did, we'd have no ghosts unless ghosts were souls that are in purgatory. Oh, that's a whole show right there.
Yeah, we talk about living in purgatory all the time, us humans who live in purgatory.
Yeah, but there's underground spirits too. There's things I believe that cross over that should not.
That's probably a good point. That's probably why there is ghosts and demons and spirits here, because it's part of being in purgatory. Because they're not going to be in hell, they're not going to be in heaven. You're not going to find ghosties in heaven. You're going to find souls there, same thing you can find in hell. So you find them here with us in purgatory. That even proves the point. This probably is purgatory. Damn it! Damn, y'all. I didn't think we was in purgatory. How bad was I in the last life? I got stuck here again. Shit. I got to figure this out, man. This purgatory shit's for birds. I'm just saying, people. This purgatory's for birds. Somebody else needs to get this. What were you saying, Delphi? We interrupted you.
Yeah, no, you're right there about that. Is that there's a lot of belief that there's levels of, I think it's 9 or 11 levels of existence and different levels where it goes from hell could be in one level and heaven in another, and then all the ones in between. And then if you look at the Indian mysticism with the 9 orbs of the chakra into the body, and then you look at Yggdrasil with the nine realms of existence there with the elves, the frost gods, and all the other stuff, Midgar.
That picture of me has got up there's almost showing Socrates. If there was one higher up to the center on the top, it would be a pretty good picture.
Well, they're finding more and more chakras now. I mean, they think pretty well, like your hands, any orifice you have, above, below, around, never mind just the center of the core of your body, too.
Okay, we're not even going to go to the anal
I
chakra.
knew you were going to get close.
We're just not going to go there.
I'm
just saying, we're not going to go there.
I just want to make an observation on this photo again. What if we're looking at it wrong? What if what you think is the chest area is actually a face, smaller, and it's just light pulling from the top?
It could be a face. The only thing that makes me not think that is the way it narrows in the center and the way the back slopes, like an arch in the back.
But that could be a neck with little shoulders. You could be looking at a little gremlin type dude there.
Oh, here you go. That's a good observation, Michelle, because if I look at this on the smaller picture here off of the iPad I'm looking at, that looks like the boobs are actually 2 eyes, and then the part is a nose with a mouth. So it looks like a skeleton face wearing a top hat. I'm like,
well, I don't even know. I just see kind of like a little gremlin-y type thing with the little neck and the little shoulders and like a smaller chest. I just look at light as being pulled from the top.
Oh, you see, now that I got it on this one where I can see better. No, it looks like a face at the top. It definitely looks more like boobs now. Actually, now that I got it on,
I think you're just looking for boobs.
No. Let me show you. Let me see if I can do it this way.
Paradolia.
Hold on, we're gonna try something.
I don't know if you want to look at it, but people see.
No, I know exactly what is. I think it could go either way. What are we doing?
No, hold on. I gotta get where I can separate the screen. So
they gotta lower it.
Like if you ever looked at the picture of Slash on the Appetite for Destruction album with the
Okay, you see what I'm saying? You can clearly see this now on the big screen. There's actually there. If there's a head, it's up here. You can clearly see there's an attachment coming straight up and making a turn and curving back down. Now, when I got it in like this, you see the whole body just lights up. It's like it's completely lit up, but you can definitely see starting here, running up, bam, then across, then around.
I will play with it. I will enhance it.
Then you come back down. Looks like a back of a head, then a slope down the neck, then a slope down the back, and then across. Oh, we're not going to mention that right here and down here.
Joe, because what a difference from what we were seeing on the other screen.
And now, when you pull it like this, you can actually see the arch. There's a serious arch. Not only is it an arch, but it looks like the top is pushing out and the back is pushing in. So I'd actually have to say that was a woman holding her waist in.
I like to clean it up a bit.
And I agree with Michelle.
Like enhance it, really fine tune it.
I learned a long time ago not to think that anything could be one damn thing, because you'd be surprised when you get it in the hands.
No.
See, when we overlay this into something where I can change the colors in it, it's going to probably change it. But there's also something, while I move the camera, where I'm showing you where the neck goes up, there's actually a red line in there. There's a separation point. So what looks to be, so this would be like if it was an arm, it would be missing because there's light coming out of there. And then there's a line that comes up and runs up top, and another one comes up. But there's some kind of reddish green line that cuts across where the neck would end or start. It's really weird. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's probably Amelia streaking through the house, but still.
Yeah, we could play with that. Like just crisp it up a lot too. So.
Well, you know, when you're in alien form, you can't be streaking around because the light reflects off everything. It does. I didn't make the rules. It's just one of them things. Christopher, no, you can find us in the chat. No, we're not on United Public Radio tonight because we're just in trouble. But again, but still, you can find us everywhere else. Yeah, we're everywhere else. Yeah.
I wondered why we were on there. I figured that's why.
Yeah, no, we got in trouble again. Actually, it wasn't something. Technically it was my fault. I mean, I wasn't the one who did the broadcast, but I was the one that effed up and didn't make sure it didn't get on United Public. We already knew it couldn't go on YouTube. We already knew this broadcast that was being done couldn't be on YouTube. But somehow, in the midst of everything, Spreaker still managed to publish it. So, you know, YouTube got a little offended, which they should have.
Well, my guest tonight wants to discuss something. So I told them, and they're well-versed. They do their own podcast. I said, be very careful what we say. You don't cancel.
Yeah, because they will throw you. Because right now, well, it doesn't matter. We're not on United Public anyway. So we ain't putting nothing up there.
No, they know. I've warned them, and they know.
But let's just keep seeming to get smacked around over there from time to time.
I sent you 2 pictures, Joe.
Oh, did you? Let me go. You sent them on Messenger?
Yep.
Oh yeah, there you are. I see them right there. All right, let me grab this one first. Let me go back to screen share.
The first one is the fiery-looking one, and then the second one is the orb.
Okay, that's.
I know, yawn orbs, but this is actually interesting.
Wait, I think this orb came up first.
Okay, that's the one. See that little thing up in the sky there?
Yeah.
I was actually standing at a trolley station, and I chased this thing from down on basically North Castillo de San Marcos Street all the way over to the Huguenot Cemetery, where it actually lands in the next picture and becomes the orb that you see. It goes from being this elementally looking thing that has to be about as big as the orb, but it was very bright. And then goes into this tree in the Huguenot Cemetery.
Oops, wrong way.
There you go.
Yeah.
See up at the top of that tree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what it turned into.
Wow.
It went from being a fiery looking thing to the orb thing.
You know, I don't know what those are. They show up down south a lot, but I don't know what they are. You'll see them. I've seen them in red. I've seen them in green. I've seen them in blue, and I've seen them in white.
Yeah, I've seen pink.
At first, you know what they kind of look like? They kind of look like a mini ferry off in a distance or something. But you know they're not, because they're a little bit bigger. Because when you're looking up at the sky and you catch it, you know it's fairly big if you can see it at any distance. So it's got to be bigger than that. But it kind of has that same feeling. Look, I have no idea what the hell they are.
Yeah, it looks like it was flying, and that's the thing that intrigued me. I'm like, what are you? What is this? Is it like a St. Elmo's fire kind of thing? I'm sorry, what?
When did you take it?
This was a couple of years ago.
She's hiding. You never showed me this. I thought maybe she got it this weekend on her adventure.
No, I've got other interesting things for the weekend.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, this is one of the more intriguing ones that I've gotten, where it goes from being one thing into completely something else.
Wow.
Yeah. Especially when you can see it.
Yes, with your own eyes. That's
right.
That's the compelling thing. And then taking a picture and having it be solid the same thing. That
Yeah.
doesn't happen all the time.
And
No.
chasing.
Yes, and I physically ran after this thing when people were like, "Is she on crack or something?" It's like, nope, just lots of coffee and no sleep.
Yeah. Sometimes when you get the best stuff.
Am I asleep? Am I awake? I'm just going to go with it. Heck with it.
No, a lot of people don't see all these orb pictures. It tend to be so controversial, you know, but when you can see them with the naked eye, then it's like, okay, now I know I'm not dealing with dust or pollen or dander or moisture.
Frustrating. Actually, a mutual friend of Sarah and I's wrote a really good article on one about how to treat the dead with respect, but the other one was how to differentiate between what's an orb and what's not, and really put a really good article together about what's pareidolia versus apophilia versus, you know, and the thing is, because you know, you'll get people, and that's first thing I'll ask them, did you see this with the naked eye? And you can see that it's dust. Like once you start looking at these things, or exactly like Del mentioned with her cameras, I think that's when we learned quite a few years ago, it looked like an absolute blizzard outside. You go outside, there's nothing, like maybe a little mist or a little fog, or then you realize.
I just sent Joe a little 12-second video that I took there out front of the house there, and when I looked at the video, I said, "Oh, geez, this has got to be a UFO." But then when I looked at the how the iPhone 12 is set up, there's actually a little dot, and it'd be that you would see there, but it's part of a tracking system that's put with the phone. But actually, in the video, it almost looks like it's a white orb going across the night sky. It's actually pretty because it moves all over the place. And it's sort of interesting. I sent it to Joe if he's able to play it there. I'm not sure.
We're going to find out right now, my friend. Hold on a second.
That's actually a good show, though, so people can see that because
yeah, with the technology now, it's something like so simple and easy that people see that, and you know, it's easy to pass things off.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to turn it on play. Let's see if it plays. Okay, there it goes. Bam! Now it's playing. Yeah, what is it? Oh, I see what you mean by it's streaking. I got you, Del. Now I see what you're saying.
Right, there it is.
Oh, yeah, it's got a little laser on it or something, huh?
Yeah.
As it's tracking the
It's still
sky,
pretty
right?
good, though, man. It's still pretty good.
yeah, but it looks like something that it's not.
It does, but you can kind of tell when he stops and goes back that it's a laser of some kind. Or some kind
but
of
if you were looking at that, if somebody just took a little chunk of that and put that there,
oh, yeah, that especially that part right there where it's just taking off streaking, you would think it was something taking off streaking. You would never know.
Yeah.
But that's the difference between real researchers and one of these. You actually went back and checked it out to see what it was. Somebody else would have just tried to portray it as a UFO and say, "Hey, look what I got."
You know what, though? I say that about Del because even after everything we've been through, he's still, I would call him such a huge skeptic because, and I don't know if it's a skeptic or a debunker, but he's got to try and debunk it 6 ways to Sundays, which
That's
is a good
always
thing.
the way you should be. That's always the way you should be. I've always been a firm believer in debunking everything, and if somebody proves me wrong, or if I prove myself wrong, hey, more power to it.
No, but that's a good thing to show to people because, like you said, if you just caught that little bit of it, you would really think it was something.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And a lot of people definitely would. You know, they definitely would.
Yeah, but I didn't know that was even on the phone there, and I was like, "Well, why? What did I capture here in my picture there?" And then I tried it a couple more times. Says, "Hey, that's actually a part on the phone that actually."
He never told me about it.
That's interesting.
Okay, what's I looking for?
Picture 2.
Oh, come on! I was trying to get what? Well, let me scroll down. Yeah, there we go. But see, I actually downloaded pictures so I could blow it up better. But see, it's such a weird picture when you look at this picture because it's so funny the way this picture was taken. I mean, nobody knew what the hell is anything going on. You get up here, you get in this first picture, and you're looking at it, Just looks like a power plant. You know, when we drove by, all we seen was this power plant. We didn't see this big disky dropa stone thing up in the sky. We didn't see that until later on. But what gets me about it, when you go down to picture 2, you can clearly see that it's the smoke from the stack that's making this visible. This would not be visible if it wouldn't be for the smoke. You can actually see the smoke going up, arching over, and actually attaching itself to whatever this big circle thing is. And it's just picking up the smoke and bringing it around. Picking up the smoke and bringing it around. You notice smoke ain't going anywhere else but there. It's just making a big circle. But when you pay attention, you'll notice in the first picture, there's actually looks like a center hole in it. And you can still see it in the second one, kind of clear. Well, we didn't even know this existed over here to the right until we went on Coast to Coast AM. This is like 4 years after this picture's taken, by the way. We noticed right here next to the right next onto the tower where this ring goes around the tower, off to the left, is a craft in an arcing angle headed right for the center of whatever this thing is.
No, so is that a portal?
Yes, it's got to be. And Coast to Coast loved it when they seen it. And that's somebody kept saying, "Did you see the UFO? Did you see the UFO?" I said, "What UFO? There's no UFO." Sometimes you're talking about the big white circle thing. He said, "No, that's a portal. There's a UFO." And sure enough, there is a UFO in it. But we didn't see any of that when the picture was taken. And you can see it. It says picture was taken March 2004 with a Canon A60 camera in a Little Marsh Island, Florida, which is near Blunt Island, actually. You can really look at it. We cropped it out so you can see, you know, in a clearer way. This was taken by one of our field investors, Jason Wilson, actually took this picture, and in Blunt Island, Florida. And nobody had no clue it was there. See, anytime we're around power plants, deep water channels, big national parks, we always take lots of pictures because usually shit like this shows up.
Joe,
I got a question for you there, Joe. It says, like, because you were in the military with that, how fast are the military Air Force able to go and scramble to get up? Like, they must be monitoring a lot of this stuff. And do you notice any of these planes or military planes going towards these objects that are in the sky?
Mostly, no. Now, when I was deployed, every now and then we hear about a scramble alert. Usually because like a Russian jet or something got too close to us. But sometimes it would be for they didn't call them unidentified flying objects, they're OUTs or something, but they meant unidentified flying objects. But for the most part, if it was over like a city or a town or something like that, we didn't pay any attention to them.
Okay,
Matter
Joe,
of fact, none of the military did. I'm listening. Again.
I apologize. There always seems like there's a pause if I'm talking
okay.
over. Okay, so I sent you a picture. Those were 2 really strange spider webs I saw in our closet at the old house. Okay, but when I blew it up and took another picture, now what do you guys think? Is this pareidolia? Is there something really in there, especially the bottom one?
Yeah, let me grab them from the other.
They're the weirdest looking spider webs I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, where the hell was I? Oh, apparently I was in a whole nother place over here. Oh God, we gotta get rid of this big white sharing screen for a minute. Okay, sorry guys. That was making me crazy. I mean, what the hell did I do with? Oh, there it is. All right. I keep losing Facebook for some reason. What the hell? Why do I keep losing FB? There it is. Come back here, Facebook. Stay on here with us. Yeah, there you go. And okay, that's just Dell's thing. Why am I going back here? Oh, there we go. Okay, Laura Lee. Hey, there we go.
Weird.
What the hell? Oh, those are, I forgot what they call them things. Hold on, let me put it where we can see it.
It wasn't a bug.
Share screen. No, actually, it's not a bug that makes them. It's if it's what I think it is. It may not be. So yeah, okay. We see these. Okay.
And then I blew them up to see what you see, especially in the bottom one. Sarah's pictures already, but
let me see if I can go backwards and show the other one. Yeah, there it is. That looks like a little face there or something.
It looks like a skull face in it. Is it pareidolia? Is it pareidolia though, or pareidolia? Is it? I don't know.
And somebody get caught in there. We see these kind of these.
You couldn't see that with the naked eye. Like I went right up to it. There was nothing to be seen when I took a picture. I took a picture because it was so weird looking.
We get these all the time.
Yeah.
They form at the crest of the ceiling and they roll down the wall, and that's why they form the way they do. I can't swear that. I can't.
You
What I was going to say.
Kind of bugs, Joe, as you do either. Remember living up in northwestern Ontario.
Well, no, these aren't made by bugs. These are parts of dust and particles that catch on the ceiling, and they get stringier hair. Sometimes they mix with like dog hair, pet hair, cat hair, and stuff, and they make these long string of ants. We see them down here in apartments all the time. We see them in closets and places where there's not a lot of air movement. We see them a lot of times, but I can't say for sure that's what that is. It does look a lot like one, but it doesn't mean.
It could be.
It could be that, but it's you can't say 100%. And that little weird thing in the front, and that could be a face. It could have caught something, got caught up in it, and rolled down. But you'd be surprised at shit we find inside of homes and apartments.
Okay, I'm going to send you guys one too.
Yay!
I took this one years ago, and you be the judge. I say pareidolia. I've had people say, "No way." I'm just like, "Man, okay, let's just put it in there and play around with it." There we go. I took this literally about 18 years ago.
Let's see if we get it up there. Let's go back to share. Oh, no,
There we go. There you go.
And
So
where
if you
did
look,
this?
so you see the little yellow piece in the middle. Look
Yeah.
to the right. That's what everybody tells me is a face.
Oh,
Looking
yeah.
kind of down with a nose and eyes. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Looks like a puppy dog.
Clear night. There was nothing going on. It wasn't cold. There was no reason for that. But again, I'm just more judgmental, I guess, when I look at things. But
that looks like a clear face. Like you don't even have to point that out. Like if you just put that up there and didn't say anything. And
Yeah.
I've got a little tiny screen. I don't know if people are on computers or not, but it looks like a real face. From where I am, it almost looks like the eyes, and then the mouth is like screaming, like
yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah.
And I look at that because I got it on the big screen on my TV. I look at it that it's like a monkey yelling out to the side.
See, everybody sees something different, which I always say, pareidolia. When the one that most people see is like just to the right of that yellow line in the middle, just at the top. It's just something that seems to have longer hair. It's got dark eyes and bit sharp nose features right in around here. And you can't really see underneath because it's kind of looking down.
Yeah, but people see something, Michelle. That's the
thing. It's but pareidolia. People see lots of things too. So I'm just more.
It looks like an old terrier dog to me, old wire terrier. A little wire mouth, little black nose, little scope up, little eye, back of his head.
Well, the little yellow to the left is actually like a detour. It's one of those little street signs. Okay, like a dead end street sign with little blotches on it, and there is a light to the right.
Oh, so it's a ghost terrier. Okay, I got it now.
I'm just saying, it's like that's
that's
the logical thing in there. And somebody, I was on a tour, and somebody says, I see something right there. So I'm like, okay, we'll just snap a photo, and it was with a normal camera, but it was a digital camera, and then that came up. But beyond that.
It looks
you guys,
me.
It's one of those pictures that I just send to people to let them pick it apart and just see what they see in it. And it's an old one, but it's interesting enough. It gets a lot of attention. People come up with some pretty creative things. So
no, that's an interesting picture there, and going back to the part that I said before with the security cameras with having night vision being a digital camera and its sensitivity that it picks up things that you don't see with the naked eye, but then when that's added into a picture of what you're looking at can make it accentuate to something a little bit more. Like it's an interesting photo, that's for sure. Like, and it's interesting to see that people see so many different things. Because I remember Laura and I, we used to sit out on the front step of the old house. And we'd look across at the tree across the road, and we would pick out about 5 or 6 different objects or faces.
We'd always see the same.
That you'd see in the tree with the leaves and the branches. You'd see a big, huge monkey god head, or you'd see a
but we always saw the same thing without telling each other. We always saw the same thing. Like he'd go, "What do you see?" Or we'd say it at the same time. We'd see the same thing. Joe, I'm sending you 2 pictures. That's the one where you think it's a little black poodle. But this thing actually moved that I caught on camera off of our security camera. That's why I took a picture. And then while Dell was still watching the screen, I ran upstairs out the front door at the same time to take a picture. But this thing actually moved because he saw it. He goes, well, he thought it was an old lady at first in a wheelchair. He goes, what's that old lady in a wheelchair doing out? I go, that's no old lady.
Well, I know with the other photo that we just looked at, that was taken with a 3 megapixel camera. That's how long ago that was. So not virtually none.
I think you caught something, Michelle. Okay, so that's the nothing picture after. That's what it looked like. Nope. this thing was moving around. That we took that off the security camera because, like I said, our security cameras wouldn't record. But you can see it looks like it's sitting in something with a black cape on and that white face and almost white hands. Joe says he thinks he sees a dog in the middle.
I like dogs. What can I say?
Yeah, it looks like it'd be a dog in the middle. Again, it's so hard because unfortunately, when you try to bring it up, it just pixelates everything to the point where it's really hard to get a good.
This thing moved though. Okay. So it was moving. That's how we caught it. And then, like I said, I ran outside to take a picture right away to show the difference.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Pretty little camera.
I know.
Yeah, we used to have one of those. Well, we had a 67 Camaro.
Nice. It was
nice.
noisy. It was my neighbor's father.
Let's see. Okay, get that out of there. Actually, Jack, I wish I could get them other pictures to zoom in. I don't know. I downloaded them to my computer while we were talking about it. It won't let me show them that way. It won't let me show them off the website for some reason. They, whoever originally set up the Alien Enigma site may have set it up so you can't download photos. Some of them were personal stuff, so they might have set it up like that.
You know what's nice, though, I have to say, okay, so the pictures Sarah showed, the ones you did, and the one you showed, Michelle, even any of them, we all know what the details are behind the picture or that something witnessed before. So it's not just, it could be pareidolia again, like say with the one I just showed, but there's a bit of history that you know behind it, like why the picture was taken. That's why I always want to know, why was the picture taken? Like Sarah she saw something, she took off running, she chased it, she took it. You were out, like, was it an investigation you said? And there was that
no, I was on a tour and there was a medium next to me who kept stressing there was something there because I was doing the tour, so I don't take pictures on an average. And then I just said, okay, well, I'll just take a picture and let's just see what comes up. And that was it.
Something there though, because she told you, she said something like what you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So she didn't have a camera. I was just doing the tour, like, hosting the tour. So I had to say, okay, I'll just take a, picture for you. And again, it was just this tiny little 3-megapixel camera. And
I think there's something, or Joe, like the pictures you showed, we know what the story is behind or the history or why they were taken, which makes a lot more sense than just seeing a picture there, right? And people picking out a face or something. We know there's a why they were taken.
I got an interesting question for you investigators out there. Have you ever, because people usually don't talk about this, have you ever gone into an investigation to a place where you've seen where somebody has actually set up or faked something, where you found fishing line or a radio transmitter somewhere, or
a friend of mine did, and it was a very, very popular TV show out of the US at a very, very well-known location. And she walked in and saw that fishing line had been hooked up to one of her chandeliers and said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not going to be a thing. I've heard that on a couple of occasions. I've heard about it with another TV show, an investigative type TV show here in Canada also.
Well, we had Jason and Graham from TAPS, and we had 2 callers call in and confront them about how they fake shit, people who used to work for them.
Wow.
Which was nothing I was expecting. So we went to break. Grant was like, well, you set us up. I said, no, I didn't, dude. I didn't know anything about this. I said, I didn't know that was a question coming out. We don't screen callers. I said, so. That was just one of them things, because he was friends of Tuesdays, and I want to piss Tuesday. I don't really care if I pissed him off, but I was like, well, I did. Is it true? I said, have y'all been rolling flashlights and doing this and doing that? And he said, well, not exactly. He said, but there has been sometimes where even I've kind of wondered, if this, you can't. But in this case, they kind of wondered if something was going on. So talking to them after the fact, I don't think that Jason and Grant so much were hoaxing it themselves, but I do think some of their more ambitious people were trying to get better ratings, because everybody wanted a shot on the show, and if you're the guy that finds something or you're the guy who gets something, you might be the guy who gets to come back next time. So
some of these locations don't need.
A lot of them don't. But a lot of them do. I mean, the problem when you're doing a weekly TV show of any kind is the same problem we've got. You got to produce every week. Well, if you're going to go around doing ghost investigations with 50 cameras and 10 people, if you're not producing anything, your show's going down the shitter. Let's just be honest about it. So and let's be honest. I mean, I watched it many times. They did produce some EVPs and stuff, but for the most part, they weren't really producing anything. And that's one of the reasons I kind of gave them at least some credibility, because it wasn't every week, oh, we found this or we found that or we found this. Sometimes it was like, well, we got a couple of EVPs and we had these weird feelings, but we really can't, go in much more than that. Well, that's fine. At least they're being honest. But when flashlights start rolling and flashing 3 times and answering questions and magnetic field lights start flickering and, and there's nothing else going on, camera's not catching nothing, infrared's not catching nothing, flare's not catching nothing. You're kind of like,
You know what, though, Joe, in the beginning, I could see that. But I've seen some people, they're young couple. I don't agree with everything he does, but he's been really striving, he says, to prove what really goes on in a paranormal investigation. So he said, sometimes you're there for 12 hours or 2 or 3 or 4 days in a row.
yeah.
You may not get anything. But he said, I want you guys to see this and realize this, kind of like a stakeout with the cops, right? You see it on TV and something always happens. It might be an hour or whatever. Well, they can sit there for days and weeks and nothing happen, right?
Hey, sometimes the most exciting thing is the coffee you're drinking to keep yourself awake.
That's true too.
Yes.
Very true.
Yes.
It's true.
But I was going to say these pictures that I just sent Joe are when we were talking about UFO phenomenon and stuff that you just basically catch in the sky. Remember that crazy conjunction that happened with the eclipse of the sun about 5 years ago? Every time there's conjunctions and all that other stuff, a lot of weird stuff starts happening. I was up once again from dawn to dusk, pretty much taking series. This is a series of 80 pictures, like 88 or so pictures.
Right.
They're both within seconds of each other. And so with the shots, it's essentially kind of the same picture from a different angle, but you see the two and how they refract. And then what I do when I find anomalies is I turn them inside out and change the colors. And you see little things start peeking out.
Yeah.
And then you try to decipher, and I'm just saying for those people who don't know how we actually find certain things hanging out, well, that's turning things inside out backwards and changing the tones. And it doesn't mean that there's anything extraordinary in the picture per se, but sometimes you get lucky and see some interesting stuff. I mean, this is a conjunction that only happens every couple of 100 years. And it was kind of interesting, the little goobers that came out to play that day, because I got some really interesting pictures.
Yeah, but I think you have to do that because the naked eye can only see so much, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah. And especially there are dangers in looking at things like this because you can damage your eyes.
Yeah.
So if you're not using correct equipment, you're kind of taking your eye health, into your hands. And then the picture after that, and I didn't manipulate the colors in any way. This is how it looks to the naked eye.
Interesting.
Which is still interesting in itself.
Yeah. It is. It's very, and thank you. Yes, it's like, so I kept taking pictures, and as you do when you're investigating, it's like, okay, maybe it's not in this picture, but it's in this picture. Well, these things show up for a little while, and then other things start showing up, which makes it even more interesting. And over time, and then several years later, in the next picture, I've had people tell me that the next picture is a rod or something like that, or a bug, and it's like, well, I took a series once again of about probably 40 or 50 pictures. Not that one, the next one that's in the forest. It's in North Carolina where there's a lot of UFO activity. And I'm not going to tell you what exactly is in this picture, but if you blow it up, there's lots of things in this picture.
Yeah.
So, but the obvious one going across the tree, obviously.
Yeah. Looks like a rod.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
is it though? Do we really know, or is it just something just kind of happenstance? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be a light anomaly for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen rods in all different sizes, some of them are smaller, some of them are just like bloody huge. So interesting. That's an interesting one.
This one was pretty big, and the creepy part about that picture is if you blow up the bottom part of the forest floor, and it's not anything supernatural. It's eyes. It's all itty bitty eyes, and it's spiders, because the spiders in North Carolina are huge.
That would be enough for me. I'd be like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances with whatever else is out here. Screw
I
the
know.
spiders.
Spiders and snakes and bears.
So, something about spiders, man. They got like 6 legs, just more than I need. It's like, 8-legged freaking things are just like, no, that's 6 more than I care to deal with.
I know,
Well,
2 legs good,
interesting
6
in
and
your
8
photo.
not.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing in your photo there, Seraphine, is that it all depends on what camera you use. And this is a big thing there is with digital cameras. I didn't know this until I looked it up, is that when a digital camera films, it goes through it records down or it records across over a period, like it's really fast over a period of time. But you can get this drag line effect that's in there where they've shown this before, where these rods or images will show up in pictures, where it's different as a photo, which takes a one-time quick flash or a interval really quickly, and that's a big thing in these picking up these other objects that sort of smear across a photo that you didn't really see until afterwards.
Mm.
Is that Greyfriars? Where's that?
Oh, it's this one up here. You're supposed to be, I guess, the Reaper on the end down there. I guess. I mean, see, this is a face right here. These are supposedly real photos.
That looks like an overlay.
It kind of does. I'm not exactly sure. It kind of does look, but I can see its translation because I can see the
Yes.
behind it, the features of the mantle and all behind.
Yeah,
it.
that's an old
Where was
one.
this taken
No,
though?
it's not.
Let's see if we can find out.
This was from 2019, so
10 creepy photos, ghosts that will make you question everything. It's not giving me a thing, actually. Oh, wait, here we go. No. I guess it's not going to tell us what that one's from.
I saw this one earlier, yeah.
Yeah, this one right here. Alleged ghost at Lord Chambers in 1891. I do see some. Oh, I do see him sitting in the chair, huh?
Oh, with the funeral of a brother-in-law. Oh, yeah, I've seen this one before. It's interesting. It's interesting. But you also see like a lot of light being pulled. And this one, I've always found this one interesting.
I know.
Yeah, it is. It's compelling.
He's dead. Shit. How you being there, buddy? I mean, how'd you get there again?
I don't know.
So photos like these are always interesting because they stand out. You don't really know.
I like the old black and whites. Chances are they were film.
Yeah, and it's going to be grayscale, so it's going to be really hard to fake. In the old days, if you were going to fake grayscale, you couldn't really do it on the film. You had to really do it more as a stage of something and then take the picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's like digital today. I mean, digital, you can do anything.
Yes.
Oh, with the phone already.
You got to be muting that thing.
It's supposed to be only. Who's calling me from Lafitte?
Come on, that's
Lafitte,
ear piercing.
What the hell do I know in Jean Lafitte, Louisiana? Couillon Land. That's some Couillon Land. Let's see. According to 1939 print Life magazine, the terrier in the left photograph was beloved playmate of the big dog pictured on the right. Oh, so okay. The dog's coming out the other dog's ass.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can see the little guy.
Yeah, look at that. His head sticking out right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just weird. I don't know what that is. Oh, here we go. This is a creepy one here.
This is the guy, though, that William Mumler ended up on trial because he got lucky with a couple of pictures, but then ended up making it a regular thing. And I think that it's this one here with Abe Lincoln. This is the one I think that got him in trouble. So he ended up going to court, and I think it was Barnum from the circus. Barnum basically called him out on being a charlatan and testified against him. And because he was producing, he produced some also just to show, look at your hoaxing. So, and
it's a good hoaxer anyway.
Well, no kidding. Like, how do you even, photography back then, it's not easy to fake it, but it was being done. So
this would have to be 2 separate negatives.
Yeah.
Bathed at the same time. And maybe it would work. I'm not even saying it would be 100%. I know there was ways, but they were pretty sophisticated. Not many people knew how to do them back in the day.
No kidding.
That's interesting that you said that, Michelle, because actually I was watching this documentary on how they were investigating a weird phenomenon back in the day, and they had this thing. It was a mysterious snake monster that was found outside of Wichita, Kansas. It was called Sinkhole Sam, and it was like supposed to be 15 to 30 feet long. And the person that went and investigated it and wrote for the newspaper was a carnival mysteries person, and he had named this thing the Fupin Gurkel. And
if that name's not suspect, he told me this last night.
Oh, wow.
But it was written about in major newspapers back in the early 1900s, and people believed that this Sinkhole Sam snake monster, real name called Fupin Gurkel, and the doctor, he made up some doctor name too that legitimized it, and people actually believed that was the real story, and that actually became canon.
It's crazy how that stuff comes on.
That's craziness.
I wonder who this
I
young
just got a
female is.
message from somebody on Messenger that said, if I can't sleep tonight because of all these pictures, it's your fault, and all you guys.
It's what we do.
Hi,
Hey,
Shannon. She said, I'm watching you guys live, so I got to give her a
we,
shout out. Sarah
we're
knows
giving
our Tuesday night show, Sarah.
StreamYard's getting a workout tonight.
Nice.
It's actually Kevin.
Watch
So I don't
it.
know who this young woman is. This is just kind of creepy looking with these two.
Thanks for watching, Shannon. Sorry.
You're welcome, Shannon.
She's a fellow Canadian.
Yeah, she's still welcome. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? That almost looks like an ITC idea.
Yeah, it almost does.
With light. Yeah, it does.
Creepiness.
That would have been easy to figure out back then. Just
okay, this one's probably a fake.
Exposed, as a fraud. Paranormal investigator Harry Price. Oh, Harry Price. Yeah, if he said it was a fraud, I believe him.
Actually, that one there with the guy's face with the old lady, if you looked into the chest part there, it looked like there were two demon eyes coming out of his chest.
I know. On that other one, I seen
lady.
that. The one with the old man's face, I seen that. I don't know what this is. It's somebody, I guess, some ghostly girl walking down the stairs.
This was one that, from what I understand, has never been debunked.
Yeah, it hasn't. And there's multiple people have gotten a series of photographs of her, and including the people that have the hall. She can be photographed quite frequently, actually.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it because it's a span of time,
The ghost named Spectre, huh? Of the Newbie Church. That one still kind of looks kind of funky. I don't know.
No, but I've actually caught some stuff that's really interesting. That's why I was wondering where it was actually photographed, because I've got some stuff from Northern Europe, Northwestern Europe, that's not only pretty compelling, but really super creepy. Because once you've been doing this a while, as we all know, that you figure that apparitions, for lack of a better term,
I've got one.
can appear to you in different forms, and
That's
some
right.
of them choose to really try to scare the tar out of you. And or when you're like in the middle of the night, it's like 3 or 4, and you can't go to sleep, so you're gonna go, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go edit some pictures and see if we got anything before I try to crash out. And then you get this one picture, and it's like, couldn't you ever just show up with your skin on? That would be great.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be great for sure. No, I was trying to look at you all creepy like.
Yeah, with your skeletal face. It's like, I
Yeah.
love you too.
Oh, I've got a couple of those pictures caught by people on my tour. Total skeletal face. I was like, come on. That's insane.
Yeah, and then their hands and the rest of their body it seems like it's got skin or even fingernails.
Oh, you just see this thing.
Like
It's got a
face.
hood. It's like a sentry. Yeah. It's all a skeletal face with a hood.
Like, what the heck?
It's unbelievable.
Grim Reaper.
I guess if you got nothing better to do for eternity, that you get your rocks off.
You know what? If it
Maybe
wasn't for the fact that she took it on my tour and it was right in front of me and showed it to me right on the spot, and you don't even have to do anything, you just look at it, and I knew for a fact it was an empty building and there was nobody behind her, I'd been like, what? That sort of thing. You get a face like that. It's like, gosh. But again, I would have been pretty skeptical had I not seen it for myself happening right on the spot. It's just craziness.
Well, that comes into question too. That we watched tons and tons of videos of paranormal and weird sort of stuff that are going on there. And this is always a part that always gets me a questioning thing is that when somebody starts filming video and stuff like that, and something happens right in front of them, it always goes like, "Was this set up?" Like that's the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
No.
'cause usually you don't have a camera pointing right at the exact moment that something happens.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true, and I love it. I've done tours at so many different places, where I've hosted them, and I see people capture something so amazing, which is like, oh, I'm glad it happened on my tour, But it's true when it's all unfolding in front of you, and you see that nobody's had time to fudge anything,
Right.
and the area, the buildings, the whole environment. It's just like, okay,
You
that
know,
is actually pretty cool.
you know what's weird though? Like from my friend I used to call into his show every week. He's got a live show on Facebook and YouTube on Paranormal Soup, and I used to call in every week, and especially on ITC. And you're not always going to get something. And I swear to God, especially on the Halloween shows, you should hear the EVPs that come through there, like saying people by name, saying
Mhm.
like, how does that happen? Like, how do you know? Like, exactly, like you're not always going to get
See,
activity or answers.
that's the thing, Laura Lee.
Mhm.
I've read articles and I've worked with a lot of skeptics and parapsychologists, and like pseudoscience is interesting, but in 100 years, no one's ever actually proven anything, right?
Exactly.
So, but what I find interesting is because I've done EVPs, and some of them, it's just from leaving a recorder rolling, catching phantom sounds, like somebody walking on a hardwood floor, yet it's carpet, um, you know, squeaking chairs and beds, yet it's a garage with completely empty, catching intelligent conversation. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got a lot of class A EVPs, and 9 times out of 10, it's not me going around asking questions. It's I go into a location,
Yeah.
it's empty. I drop recorders everywhere, and I also, when I do
Yeah.
an EVP session where I am, going to communicate it out,
Right.
I don't ask things like, is there anybody here? I look at the environment. I try to think about the history with respect to the age of the location I'm dealing with. Some of it is like blatant, the history of it. It's a historical place. So I look at old photos in a museum, for example. I'm like, okay, so this is a time period we're dealing with. There was a big garden here at one time. I ask relevant questions and get intelligent answers.
So they can't be faked. Like this one in particular, it was in 2017. I should send you the link to it. It's pretty creepy. And you can tell by the video because they're on video. And the one guy in the background, he's always the type that would say, I've never seen anything demonic. There's nothing evil, blah, like really, really, really a smart ass about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
See this guy's face by the end of the video. He is terrified. He's looking around his place. Like he's like, because this thing sounds like this raspy, wheezy voice. You hear Jay
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, this sounds like Slytherin, dude. And then we're asking it questions and it's saying, I'm searching. Yes, I see you now. And at the end of it, it calls Jason by name. This was
Mm-hmm.
all live on video. And
Yeah,
there's
there's
nothing that
some.
comes through. We've never been able to figure it out. I don't think it's a foreign language, but it's a man's voice that comes through, and people start freaking out because there's about 8 people on the feed. What the heck was that? What was that? What was that? Can't figure out what was said, but like I said, it's intelligent and you can hear it. The second Halloween, we happened to be on the same network. We had a spookathon. Sarah was on that network with us. It was 84 hours live of paranormal, and I called in again. It actually mentioned Dell. Dell wasn't even in the room. It mentioned him by name by the end of it. It was so creepy. Like,
See, that shows a degree of intelligence there. I worked on a case long before, Amelia and I even took it on. And I was sent multiple recordings. And these are all most of them are video. And so you can see the family moving around.
right.
And one of them was in Aramaic. And it was a big growly it sounded big, sounded old for sure. And I mean, it was not just one little blip. It was a long, like a conversation. This thing went on for like a few seconds in Aramaic, and just low. When you put it on the EVP scale, it comes in at under a human octave, with the megahertz. So I'm gonna, with permission that I got from the family, I'm just gonna send it off and have it basically translated.
Wow,
Yep.
Aramaic. That's
First one I've ever heard like it.
Mhm.
We've talked about this many times before. Is that maybe that ghosts or these paranormal entities that we see and stuff like that could be bleed through from another parallel dimension and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Sure.
So here's an interesting part here, just to throw out a theory. There is that if it was parallel dimension and stuff like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that your home is set up the exact same way that another home is in the parallel dimension. So
Mhm.
when you see somebody walking through a wall, they could actually just walking down their hallway.
100%. Yes, I believe that 100%. It's just time and space. I was dimensional, you know. Um, I've worked in many places through the years where some spirits are aware of the other spirits, and then there's some spirits that have no idea who the other spirit sharing the space is, which tells me it's very possible that it is just a dimensional thing, that the setup is just very different, or you have something that could be residual from, let's say, 100 years prior to the more modern family that had existed there. Different levels of time periods. It's always interesting. You never take anything for face value because who the hell knows, you know.
Because I've been watching. There's an interesting video group that Laura always shares with me. They're the Newt's Top 5,
I
and that.
like that.
And like we've seen a lot of videos on there, and he always is like, "Hey, you make up your own mind." But I've seen this several times where there's some sort of apparition will be going through a wall, walking across a hallway, and going through the other wall, and then another camera picking it up, walking in the same direction,
Yeah.
keep on continuing on. So that's why I sort of said is that maybe in the parallel dimension, that home was set up or that building was set up 90 degrees crooked, or it's set up totally different, and it's just walking through its regular hallway or open area, but we perceive it as going through objects.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
True proof that Flash exists.
I'm sending you these, Michelle, so you can listen to them. So I'd love to hear what you think of them.
Okay,
Sure.
I can sit here all day and pop these up.
Absolutely.
I didn't put I like this one. This is creepy.
Okay, good.
Is it even, I would have thought this is superimposed.
It might be.
Yes.
Anybody else with me on this, or?
I think
Yeah,
that,
it's probably clear.
I think that Flash was going there to go and stop the wedding.
You seen that? That was weird, whatever that was singing along there. See, there's lots of these, and some of them look like they're superimposed. Some just look like things that were caught off guard. Some definitely look like dimensional bleed through. A lot of the translucent ghosts that probably are dimensional bleed through, like things like
Was
these.
that one from Greenwood Cemetery, I think? That one in Connecticut? That's the abandoned cemetery that got adopted in the last, I think, 15 years. That woman, they believe it's a woman apparition or something, but in several photographs, she looks pretty clear. But a lot of people have caught her.
Yeah,
Funny how that is, though. Repeat ghosts.
You know what I found was interesting? Do you guys remember seeing that video from Gettysburg that was floating around where the researchers were just sitting, I guess they were in their car and they were just videotaping, and that soldier just walked around from the other side of a cannon?
Yep.
That I thought was pretty interesting.
There was a really cool one too that was taken from Brazil, caught on a closed circuit camera, and the two different camera angles, and it shows some sort of spirit walking. I think it was going into a consulate or whatever, U.S. consulate, and you can see the photo of something moving down the sidewalk, and there's a metal gate, and this thing goes through the metal gate, and it walks up the walkway towards the camera and turns into a human, which is sort of really weird.
I think I saw that. Or something similar. Yeah, that's crazy. That was
And-
crazy.
But there's a lot of things that are sort of, and that doesn't happen all the time. That's where I sort of, you wonder, like we've talked about this many times on this show about repetition factors, where you'll have like the loop
Residual.
or something like that. But then other things where ghosts will appear in different areas, not doing the same thing, and you have to
Mhm.
wonder, that's the bleed through of looking through at a different dimension. And then you have to wonder about, with all our technology, are we creating this to be a more relevant or more frequently occurring factor now, with doing things with imposing these frequencies and high voltages into our atmosphere or
Well, you can power things up. I mean, if something needs energy to manifest, well, let's face it, with all the energy and electricity and air, everything we're doing to the airwaves, 5G, 4G, whatever. I mean, the more you put out there, the easier you're making it for these beings to manifest.
These
Which
little twins ones are creepy standing by the water.
Del,
That's-
oh, sorry.
Hey, well, they could be fake, they could be real. They still creepy looking.
yeah.
I was just going to say, Del, Shannon says what you were talking about was in the Philippines.
Oh, Philippines. Okay, yeah. I knew it was somewhere not in North America.
Somewhere not in North America. Yeah,
No, there's lots of those.
that covers it. So,
Well, we got
that's
about 5 minutes, guys. So we're gonna have to
well,
start
what I
wrapping up.
noticed though is so strange too. It seems to be geographically, like you see certain and a lot of, like, I think we talked a little bit about this on the last paranormal show, like say in the Middle East versus South America's got crazy stuff, and then like England will have different stuff. But you notice that, like, especially like in Spanish or in Latino culture or history, there's always the woman in white, or
That's everywhere, though. That's England too. The famous woman in white, or the stories of the bride, the jilted bride.
Yep.
That's
Especially in the South too.
Yeah, that's all over the
Yeah.
place.
yeah.
The woman in white.
Evangeline.
no, but like the rake, like you see a lot of that, or really
Mhm.
strange alien beings. And I find South America, especially, or the Middle East, or even over in Asia, they've got unusual stuff that you don't see, like necessarily.
Maybe it's mindset. I wonder, and belief
Like a
systems.
tulpa,
and-
right? Almost, right? We would-
Yeah. No, I guess that's, one thing about this field is looking at whether EVPs or somebody's photographs, can they be considered real evidence? I mean, I don't know. Will there ever be anything really definitive? I don't know. But I
Yeah.
think for those of us who research, it is really about the journey. I always say I'm happy if something comes back with a question mark. I'm like, I don't need it definitive. That just tells me I can explore it a little bit more,
Mhm.
and maybe that it's actually something. At least it
Yeah.
doesn't come back with a cross, over it, rule it out. It's like, yeah, I can keep going. Like,
I'm waiting to see one of these ones that somebody captures on video and non-video, and other people filming them, of somebody having an actual conversation with a ghost and saying, "This is what life is like over here," and talking to you over here, talking
Yeah.
through the dimension or talking through the veil, and this actually can be repeated several times with different conversations. That would be the interesting part.
but the
Well-
thing is people seeing it. Sorry, Joe.
Well, no, I was going to say it kind of has happened already, because
Has.
people who have the moment of death thing, where they see a loved one or a friend or a spouse, whoever,
That I
they have those conversations, and they do
I
have
can vouch for
conversations.
that. Yeah, and it usually happens. I always call it the gift, I say, where you may get 2 minutes, you may get 5 minutes, if you're really lucky, 8 hours, where the person's, their demise is going to be within the next 24 hours or so. But the physical signs, they wake up, they're like their usual self. And sometimes they're able to have that conversation. But when they are able to speak, usually in that last week, especially if it's somebody that's been terminally ill, they'll start to talk about the angels they're seeing there, or their wife, or their loved ones, or there's always, and they always seem to be looking like, you just know when you see it.
I've
Somebody
seen
finds
it.
a nurse.
Yeah, I've
They've
been
seen-
with people on the verge of passing. The key is, I think, is documenting it, or tons of people have experiences all the time that you can't explain. They try to share with people, but unless, I think the kicker is for the naysayers or researchers, or it's, how do you prove it?
You can't. Well, no, mind you, I can
Yeah.
tell you right now, I'm writing a book about this, mostly about nurses, but maybe some first responders, about the strange and unusual and really fascinating things we see, especially when people cross over. And I've seen many a video. I remember there was this one story, it made the local news in the US, where it was a really sick, disabled little one. She was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and she was nonverbal, and she was going to die. She was on a ventilator. And praying, everyone was praying, and the nurses had cameras in the hallways, and they had this bright light. It almost looks like an angel. Well, goosebumps telling you, it's so beautiful to look at. And this little one made a miraculous recovery. Like, she made it through.
See?
Yeah, and they
But the
caught.
key is that it was captured on video. That's what I'm saying. I think, like if you're working in palliative care, for example, you might want to try to get permission from the family or the person. Say, would you mind if I documented this? Because I'm just working on a
You're
thesis.
too busy as a nurse, and it's such
For
a
sure.
thing. But you know what the beautiful thing is?
Or
That's why
encourage the family to do it.
I'm going to take, well, no, but I worked out in the community. So a lot of people choose to die at home. So you are in the home as
There
a
you
nurse.
go.
See that.
Yeah.
But I've already collected many fascinating stories about nurses. Like, for example, very quickly, I know we haven't got much time. One of the girls that was out at camp, her mom's a nurse as well, and she is. And we were talking this last summer, and her mom worked in pediatrics, and they had a First Nations little one about 4 years old, and the family wasn't able to be there. So the nurses were there, and unfortunately, this little one passed away. And then they got called out. Something happened, and the call bell kept going off in the child's room. The child was expired. And then somebody remembered that part of the culture was you need to open the window to let the spirit out. And as soon as they opened the window, it stopped. But and this wasn't like the call bell going off once or twice.
No,
And
this is
nobody else
the
in the
belief system. Yeah.
So these are
Fascinating.
stories I'm going to be sharing in that book, because I think it gives people, even if you want to believe it or not, there's enough people, sharing these kind of different stories. It gives food for thought, if anything.
Yeah, for sure it does. Life after death, if anything, Oh, I got lots of postmortem photography.
Yes, the
Yeah, I do.
sickos. People are sick.
Michelle, we're
taking-
going to have a chat. You just might have something to add to that book.
I have a lot of postmortem photography. Just a lot of these. I used to have a large collection of funeral pieces, and that was just part of it.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
the
that's gross.
Yeah, you do too,
Tons.
right? Sarah,
Yeah.
I know you do. We've talked about this.
Yep, tons and tons. I sold a lot of it when I relocated, but I still have quite a bit. And we found a photo here in the house, actually, that was from the original family in this exact room, actually. And we were looking at a husband and wife that had been here, and it didn't look right. And all these years we didn't figure it out that this was an office. It was a very upscale family who owned the house, and there was a lawn chair, wicker chair in the house. Well, that's bizarre. But when we looked at it, we knew she had passed away. This was a post-mortem photo where she was sitting in this chair, and the back of her neck was held back onto that's why the rattan chair was here. And she was sitting with a magazine, and she had a holder in her hands that went through, and she was looking at the magazine, and her eyes were closed. And when you look across at her husband, he's like this, and he just looks up at her and just grief-stricken is staring at her. And you could see where the shirt was pulled back, holding her head back, and her neck was a bit like this. We're like, how do we not notice this big picture? Then we'd never noticed it. It was so well done.
But that was common back then.
It was.
Victorian times to take
It was.
postmortem pictures, especially of children. I've seen many pictures like that. Yeah.
It's making a comeback too.
Is it?
Yep.
I don't know if I'd want that, but
people just sitting like they're chilling with their family members, and you look at one is like, oh, modern day.
I just got the most disrespectful thought weekend at Bernie's, but really, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's the image that came to mind for some reason. Yeah. But
Okay, there are some morbid SOBs running around our planet, is all I can say.
I don't think think it's morbid. I think that death should.
I've been looking at these pictures. That's all.
I think death
Yeah.
should be normalized, and I think we need to talk about it a lot more because it's one of those things that is absolutely guaranteed. If you're going to be born, you are one day going to pass.
Circle of life.
Yeah, you damn mortals. That's true for the rest of us.
I don't think it needs to be
We
morbid.
just move on.
Have a conversation about it and make it more open and acceptable. In certain cultures, it's not like that, but it is here in North America or in developed countries, a lot of places.
That was just posted there, Joe. The Island of Dolls. I watched the several documentaries on the Island of Dolls, and what people would actually put there was some sort of remembrance of somebody that had passed on to as well.
The little girl.
Tie it to the world, or tie it to this realm, which is sort of. And a lot of people have had some weird experiences out there, and
it's an interesting story.
Yeah, I want to go out there.
Yeah, people got to learn how to let go. That's why ghosts get stuck here, because people can't learn how to let go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to learn how to let it go. Or if not, I'd have a bunch of little tweebies running around my house.
You know what the interesting thing is, and like I've mentioned this many times before, I've studied near-death experiences for about 40 years. And most people, especially if they've had a positive experience, none of them have any fear of death after having a near-death experience. None of them. Because they remember, right? They know. We just come in here with spiritual amnesia, most of us, and we don't remember. And I think it's the fear of the unknown, but
that's true.
Yeah.
It's just a cruel joke. Keep reincarnating with no recollection of what you did before, so you just
But
don't know.
we got to go because we got to have time to switch
Okay.
shows. So Michelle, you start. Tell everybody about you, and then who's next? Seraphine, Laura Lee, Dell, and then myself. Go ahead.
Well, you could find me every Wednesday and Thursday night on the Outer Realm with myself and Amelia Pisano, 8 to 10 Central, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. And of course, you can catch Joe and I every Saturday on the Gray Zone Uncensored, which is it's 6 to 8 Eastern, but it's 5 to 7 Central, and lots of good stuff coming up. Just saying.
Oh yeah, it ought to be fun this weekend. Who's next? Seraphine.
Yeah, I'm Seraphine Hurley, and you can find me anywhere. You can find Seraphine Hurley on all internet. So you can pretty easy to find, and you can find me tomorrow night with Laura Lee, and in pretty much a lot of other places. So thanks for listening and enjoy.
Oh, Laura Lee, you're next, baby.
Oh, okay. Yes, like Sarah said, you can find us on Tripping the Void tomorrow night from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're working on a great topic for tomorrow night. I think we're going to be doing some alien stuff. And speaking of shows, tonight I have the Angel Rock with myself in about a half hour. And I have a return guest who is a very good friend of mine. And we're going to be talking about some cool stuff. We're going to be talking with Augie Nost. We're going to be also talking about some of the things that, believe it or not, I wasn't planning this, but about death. Like, people have questions, what happens afterwards, and about karma, and a few other things depending how much time we have. So please join me. And thanks for having me. As always, I love all you guys. I love it.
We always have fun. Dell, you up, babe?
Oh yes, and so Tuesdays it's 8 Central, 9 Eastern. The Delicious Recipe, and send your stories of the weird, strange, mysterious, your true encounters with those stuff, and to the delicious stories at gmail.com. And from time to time, I'll read out these true, real stories and to share these around the world. Maybe other people have had similar occurrences and events.
Nope, that's good, guys. We're getting ready to roll out of here. Y'all can find me Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays. Talking with one of our co-hosts, we're going to be doing some stuff, bringing it back on science. To be honest, y'all see it back once or twice, maybe 3 times over the next few weeks. We're going to be doing a little sciencey stuff. So the Centrals is always going to be around, but when science is on, the Centrals will be off that week. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor now. Be sure to check out both of them. There's always something good going on. UF Undercover is always here every Wednesday for 22 years now. So there's always something. Somebody's going to be talking about something. If it's not me, there'll be somebody there talking about something. Somebody's got to open up for Michelle so she got some listeners, man. I'm just saying. Somebody got to help these people out.
Yeah. Wow. Ooh, wow. Ouch.
I don't know how that works on Thursdays. We're not on Thursdays, but you know. But you can find Chasing Prophecy, whose numbers have really increased. They've been doing really well, and the Red Pill News is there with Mike Lane, so you can catch them there. Fridays you can catch Jeffrey on Church of Mavis, and you can catch Kathy Belsky late at night, who got me in trouble with YouTube. Bad Kathy. Tuesday, of course, you can find Michael, Dell, and the girls on Tuesdays and Mondays. You know we're here already, so you can find us out. There will probably be a new show coming to Monday nights around 7. Probably following this show, there'll be a new one. Either here or Saturday. I haven't made up my mind. They're going to be sponsored by Carnation, so
Nice.
be looking for that coming up. Actually, Michelle and Laura Lee both know them, so I put the show up yesterday. Y'all go listen to the archives. We put up 8 of their archives. You know I'm funny about how we let shows on the network. Yes, whoever just said that the other day, yes. An honorable mention can help to get you on the network, but it does not guarantee you a place. Only thing that guarantees you a place here is either your talent or your numbers, or if you're paying. And even if you're paying, though, it still don't guarantee you a place. So it's just a matter of we look for people that host that can get along with each other, meld together, that are working on different things. Even if they're in the same fields, they're usually in different areas of the same field. Like if you look at this crowd tonight, there's 5 of us in here. We all do crisscross across the same topics, but really, truly, we're all really 5 kind of working in different areas of the same field. So even though, like I said, there is a lot of crisscrossing going on, you know, it's more fun that way anyway. But we got to go because the Angel Rock is coming up next with Laura Lee, so y'all be hanging out for that. Until next week, have some fun, enjoy your lives. Go get your damn Coca-Cola and your Kool-Aid, you know, Kool-Aid man. Oh, you thought I was going to say something else, didn't you, Carolyn? I'm not. I've said this 100 times. I'm going to say it again tonight. I am not going to recommend. Oh wait, that's right. I got to give the update. I'm glad you said that. What is today? Monday. So this is day 17 of the COVID Johnson shot. I'm still alive. Wondering some days.
Not purple tonight on camera.
No, I'm not all. And I do feel better. So I do think for like 2 or 3 days last week it was effing with me. But anyway, I do feel better. So guys, you know, do what you think you need to do. That's all I can tell you. Somebody asked me this the other day personally why I got the shot, because I'm in positions where it's not so much about getting sick of my family, but I'm in a lot of people's homes every day. I mean, a lot. Last week, no less than 40 different homes. I was in at least 25 businesses, so I could be the super spreader. So I don't want to take that. And come to find out, several of our customers we have just found out. Guess what? They just got over COVID-19. I love that they don't tell you till after the fact. Well, I just got off quarantine 3 days ago. You could have told me that before I came to your damn house. Is what you could have told me there. I might have gave you another extra week or something. But anyway, that's the reason I've done it. Whether you get it or not, that's entirely up to you, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember, I don't hate on people for not getting it, and you should be cautious and a little scared. Okay, this is all new stuff. Get as much information you can, be as informed as you can, but that's just not about vaccine. That's about everything in life. You should always be as informed as you can be on everything, because if not, you're always going to get screwed somewhere. And, wherever you're not informed, somebody's going to feel the need to put their foot in your ass. So I just thought it'd be a polite warning from the radio. Now, on that note, we're going to get out of here. Oh, y'all have a good night, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and wherever you're hanging out in this big, beautiful ball of ours. And if you've seen an alien, especially if it's named Bubbles the Gray, please do not write to me. Good night, everyone.
See you guys in a while.